to Liquor Lunch. We're coming at you live. It's the first show of 2013.
It is the first show of 2013, Hugh.
And here we are.
Wow.
It's kind of
We
starting.
made it.
We did make it.
We're still here.
Because we didn't know we would be here.
That's right.
When we did our last show. So this is our first show.
Yes, it is.
So we made it.
Some of us barely, but yes, we did. Actually, you know what? We did make it, but I do want to send out my condolences to a friend of mine who passed away. And she was actually in our working group, Angie.
What?
Yeah, she passed away.
What? In the SIO group?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah. So my condolences to her family and all of her friends. My God, that lady was popular, very, very well loved.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Wow.
our hearts with you.
I'm going to
sorry I
ask you
shocked
more
you.
about that afterwards because I didn't.
Yeah. So she made it over to this side, and then she decided she wanted to transition. It's all good.
Yeah, she's probably in a better place. She doesn't have to deal with all the stuff.
Yeah, all the
reptilians,
negative energies.
the Illuminati, the Illuminioids.
So how's it been going? How's the new been so far?
So far, so good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, you know, actually, I was sick for all last week. I was sick.
You know what?
You didn't know that. Oh yeah.
Actually, yes, I did know that. Everybody is sick. It's funny because I know a lady who works in HR, and she was saying that because she does a lot of hiring. She was saying that it's so bad right now. 1 out of 2 people are sick. Apparently, the temporary agencies are overloaded because they're getting all kinds of calls because people are so sick.
Yeah. Well, it's winter.
But you know, we've had such a beautiful winter. We had up till now. People were biking and wearing shorts last week.
I rode my bike yesterday.
See?
Actually.
See, there's no snow.
I know.
I love it.
And Sunday was great. I mean, Saturday, the weekend, I was riding. I rode from the east end to the west end, and I was still sick. But it was such
You
a
gotta
beautiful
take care
day.
of it. Apparently, this one is really, really hanging on.
It lasts a long time.
Yes.
And you just do what you got to do. You know.
Hey, I have to. Before we go into the guests, I have to show you one thing. Okay. Look at these. See these boots?
What were they made for?
This is vegan leather.
Vegan leather.
Vegan leather boots.
Otherwise known as Naga hide?
Shut up.
What do you mean vegan leather?
Well, okay, this is the coolest thing. This is the really cool thing about 2013. When you start to clear all your junk, you start to manifest really, really quickly. And so I was thinking, okay, I need a new pair of boots. My old pair of boots have holes in them, so I have to go find some boots. And I thought, okay, there's a mall across the street. I'm just going to go in there. So I went into this one shoe store in this little mall with 10 stores, and I go up to the lady, and I found these boots, and I said, do you have these in the size 9? And are these leather? And most times people think if it's not leather, it's a disappointment. So she's like, oh no, I'm sorry. I'm like, oh my God. And she said, it's vegan leather. And then I just lit right up, and she didn't expect that kind of reaction. But apparently now, vegan leather's all the rage right now. Apparently the Kardashians made it all popular in their show. So now the owner of the store is importing all kinds of vegan leather stuff. And they fit amazing,
what's it
and they're
made
so
out of?
comfortable. I didn't ask her, I just know they're not real leather.
It's made out of vegans.
Okay, well that's okay. No harm, no cruelty, that's okay, it's all good. The vegans were consenting.
Okay, good.
So it's really cool, just want people to know there's alternatives to leather, and they look better and feel better than leather. Actually, these are so good, so comfortable. Usually when you wear leather boots, you get sore when you're first wearing them in. No, nothing, it's so good. So, and they feel really soft. So I just want to tell you.
Okay, awesome.
That's new for 2013.
Okay, so let's get busy.
Okay.
I know we're starting slow because we haven't done the show in weeks.
Yeah, I feel like I'm
right?
just waking up.
And so what we've got coming on the show today, or who we've got coming on, Donna Kakonge will be here. Her book is actually out now.
Finally!
How to Talk to Crazy People.
Yay!
So we're going to find out.
Well, she's got 2 wonderful candidates right here.
Yes, she does. Also, Ryan Shanahan will be in. He's a fitness guy. He's coming in.
Oh, awesome!
Yeah.
Is he going to put you to the test?
I don't know.
I hope he does.
I'm happy to do
some
the
push-ups. See how many push-ups
later.
you can do.
I'll do some push-ups later. Okay. Also, Dianne Ojar Ali is coming in today. She's been here before. She's got her book out. Mrs. Fraud and You is finally out.
Mrs. Fraud
Yeah,
and You.
don't you remember her coming on the show?
No.
You will remember. Anyway, her book is out. She's got a book launch, I think, tomorrow.
So we have two ladies with books, and their names both start with D. Donna and Diane.
That's right.
And two N's in both of them.
Yep.
Wow.
But our first guest, we're gonna take a little break now. Come back with our first guest. Ron Tabachnick is going to come on the show. He is president of RT Planning Strategies, and we're going to find out how to achieve your dream.
Wow. I just did. I got my vegan leather boots.
There you go. Okay, so you're done. Now maybe I can achieve my dream.
Okay.
A world without problems. Okay, so let's take this little
Ron,
break.
let's put Ron to the
hey,
test
wait,
on
I
that
got some
one.
video. Let's watch okay. So since it's still 2013, the magnetic pole is shifting. It's shifting.
Okay, but
And
we
they
haven't had that polar flip.
It's flipping. It's flipping right now. We're gonna watch this video. They should tell you.
So are we going to be upside down when we come back from break?
We just might be. Okay, so we're gonna watch this. Come back with Ron as Liquid Lunch gets underway.
Okay.
You may have noticed that we seem to be breaking weather records of every kind. Yes, there is heat, of course, but this planet has set records for cold this year and last. Tropical storms, tornadoes, flooding, drought. Antarctica just had record high ice. The world is noticing enough for the money-driven mainstream media to get involved. The interest is spilling over into space weather as well, in my opinion the most underappreciated aspect of climate science. And since the MSM are now stepping to the plate on these topics on a serious level, I feel compelled to weigh in on the one-sided man-made CO2 causation of climate change. Now, the best place to start is with that story, the standard climate change paradigm. You are likely to see how nicely correlated CO2 and global temperature have been for hundreds of thousands of years. They highlight the recent spiking of atmospheric CO2. NOAA has a nice tool where you can compare many different metrics. I've included sea level rise along here with temperature and CO2. Recent readings put us just shy of 400 parts per million of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Now this chart is less popular. It shows methane in green, also correlated with global temperature for hundreds of thousands of years, and by the way, 25 times more potent a greenhouse gas than CO2, and water vapor dwarfs both of them. Switching gears back to temperature, looking back hundreds of millions of years this time, you can see the Earth has indeed had temperature shifts on a large scale. We have recently been in a fairly significant minimum. 2011 global temperature was 57.9 degrees Fahrenheit. 2012 was hotter for sure, so we'll call it a little higher. We absolutely are heating up sharply now, but this has happened in the past and we are nowhere near a high point. Well, what happens when we add CO2 to this temperature chart? Recently we have been very low in terms of atmospheric CO2, and the correlation of CO2 to temperature is not so evident when you look at this larger sample. Given we're right around 400 parts per million, using the scale on the left, we are still relatively low at the bottom of my cursor in terms of atmospheric CO2. The human CO2 causation advocates like to show energy output by the sun, to show it is relatively flat over the same shorter time periods they show for CO2. Now, although it does indeed increase, it is minimal, and in my opinion only a tiny fraction of the space weather aspect. I'll play their game and focus on the shorter timeline. Now, while the overall solar output has only increased minimally, our interface with the energy and with cosmic radiation, specifically the protective interface of the magnetosphere, has begun to fail. This is the weakening of Earth's protective grid for over the last 400 years. If this is news to you, welcome, new friend. Regular viewers here at the start of 2013 are well aware of the failing magnetic shield, as is most of the scientific community. This will be a review for many, but Earth is indeed overdue for a reversal of the magnetic field, and while every scientist on Earth will tell you it takes thousands of years, I'm suspicious. NASA compiled this list of peculiar North Pole movements, the magnetic north. It is supposed to shift around like it did here over 73 years, but the following jumps were significantly larger than average. And in 29 years, the pole moved as far as it had the previous 69 years. But that was only the beginning. It kicked the tires and began racing faster across the Arctic Ocean at 25 miles per year in 2005. And in 2010, it was clocked at 40 miles per year on a warpath towards Russia. Their long-term timelines aren't exactly adding up. I want to briefly tangent from the climate to mention that our weakening magnetosphere makes us more vulnerable to solar flares. The weakening shield means we could sustain critical damage to our satellites and power grids from less powerful flares than we normally would. Now, the solar kill shot, as it's called, can happen at any time. The largest we've had in the modern era, which luckily occurred before we had complex global electrical systems, occurred during a relatively weak cycle. Briefly, the energy from a solar flare expels electrically charged particles in the corona, called a coronal mass ejection. This is why we need the magnetosphere. The kill shot would overwhelm our shield, wreak havoc in geosynchronous orbit, and when the auroral electrojet was surged with particles, it would induce ground currents that would overwhelm and fry our power grids. According to NASA, the grids could be out for years. No food at the store, no water from the tap, no gas at the pump, no heat, no phone, no way to call for help, just you and all the other hungry people. Hope you're prepared. Now, if I'm going to explain why Earth's magnetic shift is important to the kill shot, I should probably also mention that I believe we have the ability to disrupt the auroral electrojet, the thing that would induce the killer ground currents. You are looking at the possible heating mechanisms of the auroral heater at Kakonge, Alaska, known as HARP. Let me quickly say that there is high-frequency weather modification, along with VLF devices spread across the globe that work with chemtrails to mitigate our rapidly declining climate circumstance. But if it is not one of the suspiciously large...
Okay, welcome back to the show here, and we are welcoming Ron Tabachnick here to the show, and Ron's the president of RT Planning Strategies.
Hello, Ron.
He facilitates planning meetings. Ron, I can't read this because this show is more spontaneous. So, but we're talking about achieving your dream and what you do at RT Planning Strategies. So let's start at the beginning.
Once upon a time, a person had a dream, and they didn't realize they could achieve it. And most people today don't believe that they can achieve their dreams. And after doing this 15 years, I found out that whether you're a company or an individual, they're either afraid to even consider their dream or even to plan towards it.
That's very true, actually. That's very true.
And I
Are
have a
people
way.
more afraid of success or failure?
Both.
Okay, okay.
People are afraid of success and also afraid of failure. And they're afraid of the fear.
So how do you combat that?
Very good question.
Yeah.
Well, what I do is I help them practice their dream in a safe environment.
Okay.
Instead of going out in the business world and going after your dream, what I do is say, let's sit down in a safe environment and tell me your dream. Let's practice it, like in the theater, like a sport,
Okay.
and practice until the point where you can feel your dream today. The other problem that people have is they have a dream, but they don't have the feeling today of it because they're afraid to feel. And as Donna, as you know, a lot of men are afraid to feel. Even a lot of women have a concern about really feeling and attaching that to what they really want.
So they need to get to the feeling place.
Yes.
Okay, okay.
It kind of reminds me of The Secret, of course, the movie Secret.
Oh, yeah.
Where people need to practice feeling what it's like to have already achieved whatever it is that their goal is. Is that kind of where this come from?
It starts with that, but they don't talk about really the value of practicing. As an entertainer or in sports, you would never go into the theater or you'd never go onto the playing field without practicing over and over and over again. Mm-hmm. And what I have found that Anthony Hopkins, I found out yesterday, does something very interesting.
Okay.
After he learns his lines and memorizes them, he does it 250 times more.
Wow.
To really practice it. Well, you'll find out in the business world, people don't practice. Now, if you're in sports, you already practice.
I think Olympic athletes probably do a lot of practicing.
Guess what? Yes, they do. But in the business world, do you know anybody that practices?
Very interesting.
So you're saying practicing, when you say practice, it means practicing that visualization or that feeling place?
The visualization, describing what it's going to look like, feel like, sound like, taste like, what people are going to say to you if you achieve that dream. So you experience it today as if you already had it. When a person's on stage, when they know their lines, they can connect with the audience. If they don't know their lines, they can't.
Okay.
Remember that?
Yes.
Well, it's the same thing with the dream. Some people have a dream, but they can't connect with it, so that's why they never achieve it. And the people that you have met that have been successful, they've achieved their dreams.
So how much do you have to practice this, Ron? Do you have to do it 250 times? How much do you have to practice for it to go from that feeling to manifesting in life?
Until you get that feeling.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm interested, Ron, in finding out a little bit how you developed this technique, or how you came to take this on as life's work.
Once upon a time, 25 years ago, my older brother was asked to run a board of directors meeting for a major company. And they usually spend 2 days doing a board of directors meetings. They wanted to do it in half a day. And because my brother happened to be a systems engineer, he brought a system into running a meeting, and in 5 hours, this billion-dollar corporation walked away with a strategic plan and an action plan. From that, when I joined him 15 years ago, I wanted to learn what he was doing. And one way of learning it is by doing again. So I was practicing it. I've done it about 700 times. Also, while doing it, I was able to sit down with an executive president, take him through the program so he could experience it, so that he can really take it into his company. And also, I've done it with some very well-known people because they got so much on their plate, to help them practice. Okay, let's slow down, and how do you want to proceed for the next 3 or 4 years of your life?
So your brother brought this system into the board meeting.
Yes.
And ran the meeting according to this particular system.
Yes.
Now, is this system related, or the same system as the one you use to help
It's
people?
exactly the same system.
Okay, so because I would think a system for running a board meeting, it would be a different system from what you're talking about, which is helping people to achieve their dreams.
That's what we thought. But I found out that's not the case. I found out because of the structure of the process that you can do it with, I've done it with 60 people in a room, and I've done it with one individual. The exact same approach.
And does it matter what line of work or business they're in?
No.
Okay.
As long as they have one goal they want to achieve. Last week I had a gentleman who was going in for a job interview. His dream was to get the job. So he sat down at my computer, and on a projection screen, I asked him 3 questions, helped him practice that meeting. So when he went into the meeting, 1, he was more comfortable, he had more focus with the other person, and when it came to money, he didn't have an issue with it because we already dealt with it. And at the end of it, he got the job. And because it's on a computer, it's very, very structured. And what I'm interested in talking to you about is I do this on the internet now, where you can be in any part of the world. I've done it with a person in China, California, and in Mexico, where they have a plan and they wanted to implement it, but they weren't really sure of exactly what to do. So because of the internet, and now we have GoToMeeting, and I use a program called Meeting Burner. Never heard of it before, but it's a very good way of someone coming to my site, and I walk them through the same exact program, and they walk away at the end of maybe an hour and a half, a plan to take them towards whatever their dream is.
So I'm just trying to get a feel for what the experience is like when you're dealing with someone or working with somebody over the internet. Is it like, is it kind of like Skype, where you can see them and they can see you, and you can talk back and forth? You
can use the Skype, but I've done it with people that I've never met before. And I was told you need to see the other person to go through the meeting. I found out you don't have to.
Okay.
As long as the other person is interested in getting a dream put down on a piece of paper, then we can come up with it.
Okay.
So you can just do it through like emails and that kind of thing, or do you actually talk to them? If it's not Skype or video, do you actually talk to them, or can it just be done through emails?
Well, this is live, like we're doing it here.
Okay.
Instead of you being in my office and doing this, you're at your office and you see your computer screen, which is my computer screen.
Okay.
So exactly the same thing, but it's not done in the same place.
Okay, I see. It's virtual.
Yeah. So I'm just still trying to get it. So they're just hearing you back and forth. You don't need to see them.
You're talking to them like we're talking like this, except you're talking to somebody in China.
Imagine you're my client, and up on the screen is a blank screen. I put my template up there, so that you're at your office and you see the screen. And I ask you 3 questions. And the answers to those 3 questions I type it on the screen.
Oh, I see.
So,
So you
it's
see
like
it.
a shared program, and you have the control to actually write on it.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, great. So you're talking, you can hear and
Oh yeah, you can
have a
hear it.
conversation.
It's done live.
okay.
Okay.
The
Wow,
other thing is, when
very-
you mention about experience, what's very interesting is, have you ever heard of the phrase, "I see what you mean"?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, do you know what that really means? You never thought about it.
No.
Well, if I wouldn't have taken a very interesting science, I would never thought about it either. You've heard the phrase, "that sounds good."
Yes.
Get a hold of yourself. That you have a good taste in clothes. Well, what we found out is that we use a certain way of speaking to interpret the world. Well, one of these things I found out is that when you see your thinking up on the screen, it's a profound effect. And I really don't know why. But when you see your thoughts up there and you get your thoughts out on the table, what happens, I believe, is that when you get the thoughts out on the table, you have some space in your mind to even consider
Options.
options. That's what I believe, but I haven't figured that out
Wow.
yet.
It sounds like you bring some sort of, I don't know, spiritual approach or law of attraction approach to this work, to the business world. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like you're merging a little bit.
Well, I've been told by some executives that I look at their soul or they look at their soul when they're in the meeting. So there is something, in quote, spiritual about it. I'm not sure why. I don't understand why just seeing your thinking can be a profound shift.
Wow.
But it does.
Interesting.
So it's a spiritual approach to it, which I happen to personally like, having that spiritual connection with people.
So do you also work around with people, is it all just business, or how about somebody who's maybe planning to get married and maybe their dream is to have the dream wedding? Have you ever worked with people on personal things?
3 years ago, I had some friends. He was not of our nationality,
Okay.
and his parents didn't like her family.
Okay.
So sometimes there is
Culture
a rift.
clash.
So because of the fact that we were sharing another spiritual program, I took them through the process of, let's practice your wedding. Here you are at the end of the wedding, why are you happy? That's the first question. So we made a list of maybe 25 points of why they're happy on the screen.
Okay.
Why their family's happy, why the ceremony went well. Everything went well as if the dream came true.
Okay, and this is before the wedding.
Well,
This is
yeah, before the
okay,
wedding.
Okay.
And so that information's up on the screen.
Okay.
Then I ask them, okay, let's come back today, and what's your problem? Well, the girl said, his parents don't talk to me. The wedding's only in a week. She came up with all her concerns.
Okay.
What we found out is that when you have issues, they're finite. They're not infinite. But our minds think they're finite. We came up with maybe 20 issues that there were concerns,
Okay.
which was the second step. And the third step is, let's address those issues, one by one. What happens is when you address each one of those issues, it's like they're practicing the ceremony, and they're practicing what it's like to go through it, so they feel a little more relaxed. Now, we only did it one time, but I found out afterwards they were very pleased because they were to enjoy themselves a lot more because they practiced it. So I've done it for weddings. I have a 96-year-old client who's got a business. I've done it with billion-dollar companies, and I've done it all around the world. And now what I'm doing is I'm introducing this through the internet because I want to teach people how to do it. At this stage in my life, I decided I want to give back to the world. So at the end of the program tonight, I have a couple of free offerings because at this stage, I want people to get it before I'm not able to present it anymore. And I want people to use it for themselves and in their world.
Wow.
So just going back to that example about the wedding, it just seems to me it was interesting when you said that the problems were finite, because I think when people don't put it out there, when they're just worried about whatever they're worried about and they haven't articulated it or put it down on paper, it does seem infinite. It's just like they have this worry and it's a nebulous, they can't put their finger on it, they don't know when it's going to end. But when you go through the process of getting it out there, you do see that it's finite.
Exactly.
Very interesting. Okay, so now you've got the book here. Can I just hold this up and talk talk about this a little
Oh,
bit?
okay.
Okay, there it is. Investigate Your Future, A Breakthrough in Strategic Planning. Now this book here, is if somebody reads this book, are they going to be able to kind of take themselves through the process?
That's what I'm hoping. I found out it's not that easy. You've heard the phrase in the self-help world, you alone can do it, but you can't do it alone. I've been in this business 15 years. I've done about 700 sessions. I still need someone to help me go through it because you can't do it yourself.
So is it, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I'm just going to say it's like every writer needs an editor.
Everybody needs an editor.
Even the best writer who can be an editor needs an editor, right?
Yes.
So you
what-
need a friend to sit beside you to ask you the questions.
So it would be a good idea to have somebody maybe read it alongside you and then maybe work with each other. Maybe they come up with a dream and then the two each come up with a dream and support each other.
I don't know what you mean.
Well, like you said, you can't do it by yourself. So
Yes.
it might be good that people read it together, like in twos, and then maybe
Oh, okay.
each person has their own dream and then they can help support each other.
That's a possibility.
Because if you can't do it, just reading this book on your own is not enough, right? So,
On the other hand, you probably need a certain level of expertise to be able
That's true,
to do it properly, right? And Ron's got years. Now the book's called A Breakthrough in
Yes.
Strategic Planning. I mean, what is the breakthrough? I mean, in a way, I mean, it's kind of common sense, and but I'm just wondering what the real breakthrough is. That
The real breakthrough are three things. The first thing is seeing your thinking. The second breakthrough is that if you're doing a board meeting, everybody talks and you gather everybody's thoughts. Or in an individual session, you gather that person's thoughts and they get it out on the table. The second most important thing is that asking the questions, for some reason I had a gift that one question leads to another. So the person who does this has to have that gift that when they get one question answered, it'll lead to another, and that will help them gather the information. And the third phase is the action plan is done on the spot, and you walk away with an action that you can implement your plan immediately. That's the third piece that makes it a breakthrough.
can you, Ron, give us a quick idea as to what an action plan would look like?
An action plan starts with a verb,
Okay.
okay?
Okay.
And in the action, you have call Hugh
Okay.
on such and such a date. And you put a note afterwards when you do it.
Okay.
And each,
Okay.
they've got 4 or 5 or 6
Like
points.
tasks.
They're tasks,
Okay.
but they're with verbs, with a time frame,
Okay.
and with a commitment.
Okay.
The other thing I found out, people are afraid of commitment. And that's another thing, I'm not really sure why. So when it comes to the task, I have found out individually or corporately, I have to be on their bottoms, their backs, or they are not going to commit to that task.
So we procrastinate.
Yes,
Okay.
we all do.
Yeah. Yes.
We all do.
It's human nature, I think. That's why we have cramming for school, right? That's why they have like the night before.
Well, the perfect example, when I knew that I was going to sit down with you, I was going to do a plan.
Okay.
Well, guess what? I didn't do it until 15 minutes before the session.
That's what you were doing over there.
But because you know how to do this, and the other thing that's a gift, it may take you a couple hours to do a planning session. When you learn how to do this, you can do it in 15 to 20 minutes.
So did it pan out as planned?
It's going very well. Isn't it you?
I think it's going very well. I'm actually quite excited to read the book. And
He's going to put it into action. He's going to do what he can.
Yeah.
I can tell you're excited.
Now, is there, it kind of reminds me of, like, is this the same as coaching or business coaching? Or is there something about it that's, I mean, you obviously
Different.
have your unique approach, but it sounds kind of like coaching.
It's pre-coaching.
Okay.
Oh.
What I do is I get the issues out on the table, I get the dream on the table, and then the person takes this to the coach. So I don't really coach. I call it pro-planning. You do the planning before you go to a coach.
Okay.
So that's the difference, because I don't have coaching experience.
So do you follow up? Because you said with the businesses, you have to be on them all the time.
Yes.
Okay, so do you follow up with people?
Oh,
or?
I have to. If
Okay.
I don't, they forget and they go back to their old ways.
Okay.
Especially here in Canada. In the States, they don't go back to their old ways.
Really?
Really?
It's a very strange experience.
What? That's really the big information. I mean, how did
A bomb just dropped.
Yeah, what happened? I
For
mean,
the
what's
last
the story of
15
that?
years,
Yeah.
I have found out that Canadians are averse to any kind of change.
That actually makes a lot
You
of sense.
give them a little bit of change and they get panicky.
Yeah.
And my
We're not
biggest
risk
concern
takers,
is
yeah.
we are not risk takers, doesn't matter what nationality.
Yeah.
The last 15 years I found out
Yeah.
there may be 3 risk takers in Canada. In the States, they're all risk takers. Don't
Okay,
take
who
a
are
shot.
those 3?
Me, Hugh, and someone
Robert
else.
Herjavec.
Ernest.
I
Oh,
only
yeah, that's
know
right, Ernest.
I only
Yeah.
know a half a dozen people that are really
Isn't that interesting?
risk takers.
Isn't
Most
that
of them are
interesting?
not.
That is, I mean, we've heard that anecdotally, right? The Canadians
Yes, we have.
are like
Yes, we
that,
have. We're
and the
so
Americans are.
passive.
And it's so true.
It's
I wonder if it's the fluoride in the water. No, they got fluoride in the U.S. too.
yes.
I'll tell you what it is.
Okay.
We have been so blessed in this country
Yes.
that we don't have to do very much.
Because we're always so happy. We don't need to take a risk because we're happy with who we are.
That's the problem.
That's not a problem.
It's boring when you don't take a risk.
Yeah.
A lot of people are boring.
Plus, if you're trying to get business done in this country, and you got a great new idea, you go talk to somebody, and everybody says no.
And
right?
it doesn't matter what the idea is, everybody will say no. But I've gotten on the phone and I've called people in the States
Yeah.
and they're open
Thank
to
you.
take a shot at it.
That's
Yeah.
why there's such a
Yeah.
dynamic.
It's true.
But
It's
they
true.
got their other challenges, but they're willing to take
There are
a shot.
challenges that come with that, right?
there
that's
are,
the
yes.
thing, and that's what they have to deal with that we don't have
Are they
to deal
going to
with.
be able to pull out of this recession? That they're
That's
in?
why they had such a bad banking
Ron?
system, because they took too much risk. And Canada's banking system is more
That's
solid.
right.
If they gave
So
me a
there.
chance to sit down with the powers to be and have them sit around the room and have Canada on the internet,
Yeah.
which you can do today,
Yeah.
they put their dream on the table,
Yeah.
they get everybody in Canada to agree.
Yeah.
Because when you go to the higher point of the dream,
Yeah.
everybody will agree.
Okay.
Really?
Okay.
They tried to do that with Meech Lake.
They tried to do that, but unfortunately they had a challenge because they didn't go high enough that everybody would agree with the dream.
That's interesting.
So when you have the dream agreed with by everybody,
Yeah.
the black, white, red, yellow, and all those other people, and you ask them, okay, what's the dream look like? And you find out from the world in Canada
Yeah.
what the dream looks like, where they agree, yeah, here's the dream in 25 years.
Yeah.
We would be tickled pink, we'd be excited that we've achieved our dream.
Yeah.
And once you have the value of that future, again, it's finite.
Yes.
It's not infinite. Then you come back to the day and you list all the challenges. And then what we do is we take each challenge at a time, we address it with an action plan, we get people to commit to it. And watch what happens.
Could you govern a nation with this approach?
Yes.
Have you thought about that?
That's an awfully
I mean,
big.
you,
We're gonna come up with an action
you've
plan
already
for that.
sort of said yes, but I mean, it's because I think that we got some serious problems with governance these days, and a new approach would be welcome.
Well, you know how powerful the internet is?
Yeah.
Yes, with the right people beside me, yes, we can
could do
govern
that.
a nation with this, because imagine the nation has a dream,
Yeah.
and they put everybody puts their description what their dream looks like, where they agree to it, what are the challenges, and then you get the right people to deal with the challenges that they can commit to it, and make sure that the challenges and the action plan get done. Guess what happens? Everybody starts working together. Now, they may not achieve that dream because sometimes the dream is over here, but you won't know until you go after a dream. So sometimes we have to realign the dream. But once you realign a dream, if you talk to people who are very successful, they're gung-ho for that dream. What we want to do is we have to do 3 or 4 sessions to get everybody gung-ho to achieve a united front,
common goal.
front.
Called the Dream Party.
There you go.
Called the Dream Parties.
So, okay, Ron, this is great. We're pretty much out of time here, but here's the book, so
We wanna
people
give it
can
away,
maybe
right?
do it themselves if they get the book. And
But we're giving it away.
I'm imagining, is this available on your website?
I'm putting that on my website where they'll be able to download it free. They just have to contact the station,
Yeah.
and we'll give them the information to download it free.
Oh, right. Okay, the free download.
And the other thing that I want to offer is that anybody who has a challenge or who has a dream, I will offer them a free 1-hour session to launch it.
Wow.
That's
And because it's on the internet, they can be anywhere in the world.
So how do they get, just email you or?
Just email me, yes.
Okay.
Ideally, they email the station.
Okay.
We want to find out how many people
We want to pick one, right?
are watching.
Pick one person?
No, everybody.
Okay.
We get 100 people, I'll do 100 people.
Wow.
of the planning session?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. That's awesome. Okay, Ron, this is great. and
This is going to have to, when does this expire? Because this goes online too, right?
Oh, yeah. We'll be doing these in the year 3000.
Let's see.
Yeah.
As long as I'm healthy and conscious, it doesn't expire.
Oh. Yeah, but you can get out of that anytime. Just pretend.
I'm not senile
healthy, you're
yet,
not
please.
conscious. I know, but you know.
There's something called integrity, Hugh.
Oh, integrity.
INT.
Okay. Okay. And Ron, what's the website? Just before we go.
Website is www.rtplanningstrategies.com.
RT Planning Strategies Group.
Wow. What a nice offer.
Okay.
And I want to teach people how to do this.
It sounds good. I'm looking forward to reading the book. rtplanningstrategies.com. Ron, thanks for coming on the show. Great to meet you and do this today.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome, and thank you.
Okay, so let's take a little break. We're
Okay.
going to come back with Donna, and we've got. Oh, let's watch this. It's a message from Anonymous.
Oh, they're back?
Anonymous! They're back. And we'll come back, and we'll continue here on Liquid Lunch.
Mr. Obama, the Second Amendment of the U.S. Constitution does not talk about an army that is covered elsewhere in the Constitution. It does talk about a well-regulated militia, which is made up of civilians with their own weapons. The Second Amendment of the U.S. Constitution does not talk about protecting government or government resources, but it does talk about being necessary for the security of the free state. The Second Amendment of the U.S. Constitution does not say a single word about hunting or sport, but it does say,
"The people's right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed."
to the American people. As many laws have been banning firearms in cities such as Chicago, New York, and Washington, D.C., have been implemented, and, as the courts get them, they are now being overthrown as unconstitutional. Even if they were not ruled on, they are an infringement to your Second Amendment rights, and you have no obligation to obey it, and the courts have no obligation to enforce it.
No one is bound to obey an unconstitutional law, and no courts are bound to enforce it.
Mr. Obama, as the chief law enforcement officer of the country, you are responsible for the conduct of those under your command. There will be no further tolerance of any of the following: any act to infringe on any of the Bill of Rights, as identified in the U.S. Constitution; any act to seize or locate any firearms or ammunition; any act to control the ownership of firearms or ammunition; any act to control the manufacturing or sales of firearms or ammunition; any act to document ownership, purchases, or attempts to purchase firearms or ammunition; any act to deploy or stage for deployment any military forces or government employees or agents thereof, for the purpose of asserting control over the population, or the rights of the people, or the states, as defined in the U.S. Constitution, such as would be used in martial law; any act to write, form, negotiate, enter into, or comply with any international treaty that would or could do any of the points mentioned previously.
Reed versus Covert, 354 U.S. 1, 1957. Treaties do not confer powers not authorized by Constitution.
Any action taken by you to attempt to perform those acts, or similar acts, as interpreted by the American people, or any attempt by you to skirt your responsibility to the true office of the presidency, will be viewed by many people as your willful act of insurrection and treason. against the American people, as those acts would be willful disregard of your oath of office. Any further attempt by you, your administration, law enforcement, or those under authority of the presidency to perform or assist in performance with anybody attempting such acts will be viewed by many people as your willful act of insurrection and treason against the American people, as those acts would be willful disregard of your oath of office. Any further attempt by you, your administration, law enforcement, or those under authority of the presidency to do any of those acts mentioned or anything similar will be viewed by many people as your willful act of insurrection and treason against the American people, as those acts would be willful disregard of your oath of office. Upon such acts, it is the responsibility of the Vice President and Cabinet members to immediately exercise their authority under the 25th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution to remove you from office. Failure of such act may be viewed as an act of insurrection and treason by the Vice President and Cabinet members, as such failure would be willful disregard of each of their oath of office. Upon failure of the Vice President and Cabinet members to perform such duty of your removal, it then falls on Congress to immediately force your removal by legal means. Failure of any member of Congress to perform such duty, or to hinder it in any way, will be viewed by many people as an act of insurrection and treason against the American people, as such failure would be willful disregard of each person's oath of office. Upon failure of the Congress to perform such duty, it will be the responsibility upon the United States Supreme Court for failure to act in past or present to rectify said situation, and as such will be viewed by many people as an act of insurrection and treason against the American people, as such failure would be willful disregard of each Supreme Court justice's oath of office. Upon failure of all the aforementioned bodies to perform such duty, it will be the authority and duty of any and all members of the United States Armed Forces to remove the President, Vice President, Cabinet members, and members of Congress, and the U.S. Supreme Court justices from power by military force. Failure by all military members to perform such duties will constitute as an act of civil war against the American people by said authorities.
This video has links to other sources. This is for news and education reasons, and so falls under fair use. But no doubt, some people will try and have it removed. Download it and re-upload it, or pass it along. Let the truth be known.
We are anonymous.
We do not forgive.
We do not forget.
All right, we're back here on the show. So there's a message from Anonymous, and
They're
have
back.
Donna Kakonge here. And Donna, I saw you looking at that Anonymous
You're
thing.
not familiar with
What
you
is
weren't-
what is Anonymous?
You've never heard of Anonymous?
Is it a clothing brand?
It's a great
Could be a
name.
clothing brand.
You know what? Well, it's a brand of something. Clothing. They're rebels.
They are rebels.
Yes.
Really?
Right? Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah.
What do they do?
They're trying
Okay.
What do they rebel against?
Everything.
government structures.
Oh, really?
Banking systems.
Are they Canadian?
Well, anybody can be. You can be anonymous.
Well, see, they're part
don't
of this
know.
big.
All you have to
it's a
do is get one
movement.
of those
They're a
masks.
No,
movement.
I think maybe I have heard about them. My students taught me about them
Yes.
at one point.
See, there you go.
They're considered
Okay.
heroes to a lot of people.
Wow. Well, excuse my ignorance. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I concern myself with some other things.
You don't know Anonymous, but you certainly know fashion. That dress is beautiful.
Thank you, darling.
It's a beautiful dress. You're telling me it comes from Turkey?
Yes, I have to give a plug, okay? Because see, I go into the store, right? I lost some weight, and I'm just
You
so
look fabulous.
happy, okay? Because my doctor said, "My goodness, you will die otherwise," practically, right? So now I go into the store, and I say, okay, well maybe I need a large, and then I said I'll just try on a medium, and I was wearing my poncho, so which is beautiful. It's from
Absolutely
Lilith's Garden.
stunning.
It is Lilith's Garden in the Distillery District here in Toronto. So I'm in Chelsea at Dufferin Mall. Okay, so the woman said it's not going to fit you, right? So so I tried on the medium. This is a medium. Okay, do you realize my weight got so high? I was like 250 at one point, right?
Wow.
So and now this morning 183.5, and I'm 5'9.5" in flat feet.
How did you get down, and how long?
Exercise hour every day, every day 7 days a week. Exercise an hour every day, and good eating. Thank goodness to Melanie Byland at Loblaws in my neighborhood to teach me how to eat well. That McDonald's is not your friend.
Wow. No.
You know, that McDonald's you will gain weight.
I heard it's okay if as long as you supersize it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you supersize it, you will be supersized.
Depends on which way you want to go, I guess.
Yeah, if you supersize it, you will be supersized. You will be supersized.
So what somebody at Loblaws is telling you what to eat?
That's what it means. They have free dietitians.
Oh,
Do they really?
Yes, they do.
Did you know that, Gil?
Free dietitians.
I didn't know that.
Free
That's amazing.
dietitians.
Way to go.
Any of them, they have certain ones that cover areas, and they'll tell you what to eat. They'll even show you how to read labels.
Wow.
How to read
Awesome.
labels.
Awesome
They'll go
stuff.
around shopping with you.
Wow, nice.
You know,
nice.
they'll help you even choose cheese. It's not going to make you gain 10 pounds.
Who knew? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That is really forward-thinking.
I know,
food
it's
retailing.
very forward-thinking. Well, this is why Galen Weston is so rich.
Oh, that's him.
I thought it was because
he
his
owns
father
Loblaws.
I think he's doing a good job.
Yeah,
that
he
Galen
is doing a
Weston.
good
because
job.
his father was rich.
Well,
That's
but-
why he's
Well, that
rich.
helps.
Well, yeah, but
too.
he's really working it. He's in those commercials.
I know, but you know what? It's easy to make money when you have money. Come on.
Yes, you're right.
Right?
You're right. It is. You're right. You're right.
You can't
You're
go
right.
wrong. Really, you
I mean,
can't go wrong.
sometimes I have a very hard time making money.
But if you had the money, you have all this room
Exactly.
for error. Eventually
Exactly.
something's going to
Exactly.
stick. Right?
Exactly.
You can't go wrong.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. So I
Right.
bought this dress special for coming on the show.
Wow.
Okay,
And you
great.
bought it at the
So-
store at Chelsea.
Chelsea in
Beautiful
Dufferin
dress.
Mall. In
Nice,
Dufferin Mall. They
nice.
probably have like 2 or 3 more left, ladies. So run.
Wow. It's gorgeous. All right, okay, there's our fashion talk.
Okay, so Donna, finally the book is out, right? Can I pick it and
Yes,
hold it up the
yes.
first time
Have you read
holding it on the
it?
show?
Have you read it?
Well, I gave
For
the copy.
shame.
I gave the copy that I bought from you to someone for
Yeah, and
Christmas.
he did even buy it, which is really good for media people because usually they get things for free.
Well, I wanted to give it to somebody as a Christmas present.
That was very kind of
Wow.
you. That was very kind of you.
and
And I see you have your magnetic rings
of course
on.
I
I'm
have
sorry.
the. Oh, by the way,
Fantastic.
which thank you for that.
Yes.
Because the rings are now available on the website thatchannel.com.
Wow,
You're selling those
that
magnetic
is
rings.
so cool.
We got
Wow.
e-commerce going on.
That is so cool.
Just click on the cool stuff. And,
I told you I would buy them. I will buy them.
Oh,
I
it's on
told
the
you I
website.
would. I will
You should
buy
put
them.
Donna's
There you
book
go.
on
I
there
will buy
too.
them. Yes, you should.
It's already on there. Donna, I forgot. It's already on there. I didn't even, I forgot to tell you.
Thank you.
It's on the website.
Thank you. I
See, there you
appreciate that.
go.
You people are good people. You're good people. You're good
Yeah.
people.
That's
Thank
great.
you. Thank you. I'm really glad I made a special effort to come here today, even though there's no power in my home.
Oh, there's no power.
Yeah, an electrician is there. The fuses are being changed to circuit breakers
Oh.
for
that's-
insurance
Oh,
purposes.
so do you have that knob and tube thing happening? Is that what you have?
Well,
before?
yeah, like
okay.
old school, eh?
Yeah, yeah,
Now it's
yeah.
getting modernized.
Well, good for you. Good
Yeah.
for you. That's a lot of work to get done.
Yeah, those people are doing it. They seem nice, you
Those
know.
people.
They even
Those people. I think they're called electricians.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think
Well,
there's a
they
name
make
for
tons
those
of money.
people.
They make more money than even I do. Like, you know, they asked for me to remove my pictures that were in the corner there, and that is I really appreciate that because all hell would have had to break loose if something broke, right?
Wow.
So that was very kind of them to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your book, How to Talk to Crazy People.
Yes. Oh yeah. Okay.
Because isn't that what we're here to do?
Yeah, that is what we're here to do.
And I had a
Or a
reason.
power outage. Is that what we're going to talk about?
Well, it was on my mind.
Fashion. Okay, go ahead, Hugh.
Well, I was just going to say, you know,
Okay, Hugh,
I
come
gave
on,
it to
take some
somebody for
control.
Christmas because because they needed to
You can't
know how to talk
expect
to
women
crazy people.
in a 3 week of the year not to get giddy. Like, you know, you have to act.
Okay,
be,
well, I'll just stop talking. You guys just be giddy for the rest of your evening.
Okay. All right. So how to talk to crazy people. Let's talk about the book.
Okay, it's fantastic, it's wonderful, it's delightful, it's entertaining, it's well written, it's marvelous. I think it should win tons of awards.
Okay, so tell me what you really think.
It's a 3 week of the year I'm allowed to brag.
Okay, absolutely. You know what?
It is a very, it's a very good, it is really a good book.
Is this a personal life story? Is this like a
It
biography?
is. It is. It's a story of when I was crazy. Not saying that I'm not now, but I just manage it better.
Okay.
I just manage it better. So this is a lot of kind of this is a book basically of stupidity. Okay, this is like me being stupid, right? Me realizing that, you know, me acting in such a way where I wasn't listening to my doctor, me acting in a way where I wasn't always making wise choices. I think it serves different purposes, because I think that for anybody who has family members or themselves who have suffered from a mental illness, they can relate to the book in their own personal way or through experiences. And for people that don't know anything about that, it will teach them a lot about what goes on in the minds of people who have lost it, for lack of a better word.
Let's talk about that a little bit, because I know that this is based on your experience with bipolar, manic depression.
Bipolar disorder, yeah.
And I would imagine that there are some similarities, but specifically for manic depression, this book is an experience of that.
Yes.
Your experience of that.
Yes.
And I know a lot of people are dealing with people, family members or whatever, that have manic depression, and it's difficult. It's a difficult thing to do. Yeah, if you stay on the meds, you're okay.
Yes.
Well, usually, although sometimes they have difficulty.
Some people can get off the meds and do well too. So it just depends on what kind of support network they have.
But it's a lot of times they fall off the wagon. They just stop listening to their doctor. They stop taking the medicine. And I'm curious because, you know, what was going through your head? Why didn't you listen to your doctor? I'm just curious.
Well, really, okay, so something I came to be reminded of is that the medication actually, it's a tricky thing, because, and this also ties into my personal health, because part of the medications that I take, a series of psychotropic medications, which is that all falls under the set of pharmaceuticals, it can cause instant death. Okay, that's one of the side effects. It can cause instant death.
Oh, so but all these drugs have side effects.
I know, a lot of them do.
Well,
a lot of them
death.
do.
Well, sure.
So it depends on the drug, right? Okay. So that was part of the reason why, like, it was really because I didn't think the medication would help my health, why I didn't want to take the medication.
Okay.
Now, as I journeyed through a lot of mania, not as much depression, not as much as mania, because I tend to be more on the high side than I am on the low side, but I have definitely experienced depression. So as I journeyed through that, it came to the point where things got so bad that I had no choice but to then opt for medication. So once I opted for medication, and I was doing things like eating well, but maybe a little bit too well, in general eating well, and getting light exercise, you know, which wasn't helping my weight situation. But now recently, realizing that I'm more aggressive and getting older, because I'm now 40, right? So, and aggressively addressing my health issues, you know, by exercising, eating well. Then I realized what now I'm doing is putting the scale basically more into my balance.
Okay.
Right?
But it takes a certain amount of mental stability to be able to get your life back in order, to be able to do the eating and the exercising and that kind of discipline.
That's true.
So, I mean, you have to kind of be at a certain place in stableness.
It's true.
stability to
It's
be able
true,
to do
which
that.
is much easier to do at the age of 40 than it is at the age of 23. And that's just a fact.
Yeah, but and
people
that's not
who can do that at 23 are rather exceptional. They really, and also we have to keep in mind that, like, at the time that when I was 23 and had been diagnosed, the books that were out there about bipolar disorder was Kay Redfield Jamison's An Unquiet Mind, Sylvia Plath, The Bell Jar, and references to Virginia Woolf. Right, that was almost pretty much all that was out there. Self-publishing wasn't even that big back then, so there weren't that many people publishing. This would have been 1995, right?
Okay,
So there
okay.
really wasn't that much literature even out there to refer to, right? So, and it was a very hush-hush thing. You were not supposed to ever discuss really with anybody else that you have been diagnosed with bipolar disorder or that you had any other mental illness. So the stigma was really strong. Even to this day, my psychiatrist will still say there is still a stigma. And yes, there is, because people will assume all kinds of things about you without even knowing anything about you, right? So, but it's better. It is better. Like, you know, we have Bell Canada actually spending tons of money, you know,
$2
on
million,
CAMH, on the
right?
Canadian Association of Mental Health, right? So, and you know, and actually doing stories about it and things like that. Like, these things were not happening at the time. Like, it was very hush-hush, right? You know, so, I mean, we even have, like, school systems where there are actually offices of disability where students can get forms, you know, to say, I have a disability, you know, please make allowances for me, right? So, I mean, these things were not happening. I mean, I didn't have to ever go through that in my undergrad, nor now, but it's a fact there are those options here, right? So if a student is having problems in school based on a disability, they need not drop out or have an incomplete degree because of it. So things have really changed, you know? And it's funny because I was just, you know, coming onto Black History Month, I was having a discussion with a friend of mine, and we're talking, and she was saying, it's amazing that, like, we have lived a lifetime where there, you know, is now, you know, the reconciliation that happened in South Africa with a Black president in South Africa, a president in the States, 2 female leaders in Africa, like in Liberia and Malawi. It's amazing, and how the upliftment of any people, you know, including even Aboriginal people here in Canada too, how it benefits everyone. It makes us all strong, in my opinion, right? So it's, you know, really, it's amazing the kind of changes that have taken place. So people who think that we're going all to hell, you know, that's very negative thinking, actually. Very negative thinking.
You need
very,
to talk.
very negative thinking. So
when you say how to talk to crazy people, who are the crazy people? Are you talking about people with mental health issues? Is this
you know what's interesting about that title? I'm really glad you asked me about that title, because that title was not my choice, right? So that was the editor's choice.
It's a bit
definitely was
controversial,
the
right?
editor. It is a controversial title, and I think that title was chosen so that it would sell. Right, so you know, it's a marketing scheme. If I'd had my particular choice, I would have called it Only My Voice. Right? Because at the end of the day, I feel more justified calling it that, because so many people have their own set of experiences and unique experiences dealing with whatever, even a general day. from sunrise to sunset, right? That I would have felt very comfortable and justified with that. She felt it was flat. Okay, maybe I'm not a double D. So at the end of the day, right? So maybe that's hotter, sexier. Is
Well,
like
it-
you
it's-
know,
it's- you know what it
it's a
does?
harder hitting kind of title,
it
right?
does,
So
provoking
yeah,
first.
yeah.
What's a double D?
I'm talking about bra size.
You were talking about bra size. I didn't get that.
I'm just surprised that your editor didn't suggest that you call the book "How to Have Sex with Crazy People,"
I know.
right?
It's like, but everybody knows. Everybody knows. Everybody knows in any genre of anything that has to do with entertainment. Just say sex a lot, and it'll sell, right?
Well, we had one group in here. They had an album that was called "How to Have Sex with Canadians."
That's a great title.
I know. Anything with sex in it, like you say.
Well, who's that guy?
That's hilarious.
What's his name again? Graham Greene or something like that. He says, you're not a Canadian until you have sex in a canoe. I hope I'm not misquoting. Have you ever heard of that before? You
No,
haven't?
that
I
makes
have
sense.
heard that. I think I have.
Yeah, is it Graham Greene or something like that? Or I can't remember.
Could have been anybody.
Can't remember.
Okay, so that means all three of us are not Canadian, right?
Well, you know, you don't know.
Actually,
I used to
haven't
own a
had sex
canoe.
Actually, I haven't had sex in a canoe, but I was born and raised here.
I was
You
thought were
need
gonna
to
say
have
you
sex
were
in a canoe.
I thought you
I
were
guess
going to say
I
I
do.
was born and raised
I
in
guess
one,
I
no?
do. I guess I do. I'll put up an ad on Craigslist.
I'm sure you'll get some takers. I'm sure you will, Donna.
Especially now in that dress.
Well, it wasn't even on sale, people. I bought it. I bought it so that I could come on the show. So and I'm
she
going to
is a
wear it to
double
work.
D.
And I'm not double D actually. I'm a D.
You probably were
but-
now when
yeah,
before you lost the
and
weight.
I know that's the thing, eh? That's the saddest thing.
I know.
The saddest thing.
But that's okay because you know
I
what?
have bras that don't fit as well anymore.
You know, some women have to pay to have a breast reduction. You should be so
yeah,
lucky.
Actually, I know two people who had to do that because their back was hurting them so much.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I know those people too.
Oh, I feel so sorry for them.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, you know what? When I opened this book, the first thing I saw, and now the true colors are coming out, and I can't find it now. You said you hate people in here.
Well, you know.
Yeah, you know, I
have
really
my
hate people.
flashy
It's amazing
moments.
how much they talk.
I have my flashy moments. It's
I don't
like
really
a period.
understand why people are so stupid.
It's like, you know, it's
This
like
is
a
so straight. Like it's
like
really
a,
direct.
It's like you know, it's like a period. It passes.
But you know what? The
Comes
thing
up
is,
again the next
every
month.
single one of us thinks this.
Well,
Every single, once a week, never mind once a month. Right?
Thinks what?
I really hate people. Why are people so stupid?
I can't believe you ever think like that.
I don't, but I say that almost everybody does.
No, I can believe. No, I can believe that you think like that. I can
Actually,
believe.
you
I
should
can
see her
believe
on the
it.
road.
I
She's
can
got
believe-
road rage real bad.
I can understand that people drive very silly in the city sometimes, and please, nobody cut me off because I said that. But like, you know, I mean,
Yep,
it's yeah, like people can really drive very silly in the city.
Especially,
yeah.
you know, first
Yeah.
snowfall.
Oh
or,
my
or when
goodness.
it's raining. All of a sudden.
Oh my goodness, I know. It is so true. It is so true.
Get some snow tires, people.
Oh, I'm so
don't need
glad I
snow
got
tires.
mine.
Well-
I actually have to call my dealership, and they want me to come in for servicing,
Yeah.
but I don't really see the point. I'm not even at 12,000 kilometers. I don't need an oil change.
Oh, yes,
Just
you do
make
at
sure you
10,000.
change your timing belt before it breaks on you.
Well,
You
what's a
break your timing belt,
What's
you're
that?
in big trouble.
What's that?
You'll never be on time for anything after that.
Especially if you got a diesel.
What?
That's all I'm
no,
saying.
No, it's not diesel. It's not diesel. Unfortunately, it's not a Mercedes-Benz like I wish it was. It's a Volks.
Well, you should talk to our first guest today because he can help you achieve your dreams. You see, today's all about the
A
books.
Mercedes-Benz hatchback. Where is Ron? Ron left. Eh?
He left.
I don't know.
Yeah, because a Mercedes-Benz hatchback is my dream.
They are kind of nice.
Well, you know
Yeah,
what?
they're
Call him.
nice.
Free
They're
session.
nice.
He'll give you a
They're
free
nice.
session.
yeah,
give
that's
me a free
right.
session,
Just
eh?
watch the show.
Really, I thought a lot of the things he said was were very smart, and especially about that we all procrastinate, because I'm one of those people who hates to admit that I do procrastinate. But yes, I do have my moments, and I cannot believe I'm even admitting that to
Well, that's
myself.
entirely
because-
consistent with what Ron said,
Yes.
which was that
You know?
everybody procrastinates.
Yeah,
Especially in Canada,
yeah,
apparently.
Yeah, Yeah.
Especially some.
And it's true, Canadians are not risk takers.
Yeah,
it's
isn't
very
that
true. It's
so
very true.
interesting?
I don't know.
But I think that
I think having sex in a canoe is
good,
rather risky.
I would agree, unless you're wearing a life jacket. Because I guess you could do that.
The life jacket
Like,
takes
I mean-
all the fun out of it, Donna.
Well, how would that be done? It's been a really long time. Okay, I
Yeah.
can't even.
Since you had sex in a canoe?
That's gonna
Let's
be
leave it at that.
the next book, Donna.
Okay.
That's gonna be your next book.
Yes. Okay, Donna, we're just about out of
Takes a
time.
crazy person.
Anyway, there's the book, How to Talk to... Actually, people can buy this book on our website.
Yes.
Right now.
Do I get the money? I get the money too, right?
Don't worry, you're gonna get everything you deserve. Yeah, How to Talk to Crazy People.
Oh boy. I
Available
don't know
right
what
here
that
on that
means.
channel.
I'm not sure what that means.
Well, people can get this on Amazon too, right?
Yeah, you can get it on Amazon, and you can also get it on Lulu as well.
And can they go to your website and maybe get it too?
Anderson Accents on Eglinton Bookstore at Eglinton and Dufferin.
Yeah, that's where you had your book
1790.
launch.
That's where I had my book launch, and Hugh was there.
Yes,
Thank
I
you,
went.
Hugh. That was so
Why
sweet.
didn't you tell me?
I forgot.
I knew you didn't tell her.
I would have went, Donna.
That's like my niece O'Shun's
Of
look.
course, it's all my fault. I'll take responsibility. Anyway, Donna, any final thoughts before we...
Final thoughts.
Carry
That
on.
you all are really good people. I really appreciate you allowing me to come back this many amount of times.
love your ranting.
and dealing and dealing. This is. It really is a free country when crazy people can do this. You see how far we've come.
Liberating it is.
You see how far we've come. And I'm sure my psychiatrist appreciates this too, because she knows she doesn't have to see me as often as long as I come on this show.
See,
Well, for
then-
every moment
see?
you're here, you're not there.
Exactly.
We're doing
exactly.
our
It
part.
actually helps taxpayers because you see, it's less in healthcare costs,
Yeah.
right? I'm not
So we're doing-
straining the
we're doing
healthcare
our
system.
part, Hugh.
We're doing
I'm
our
not
part.
even. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You know
All
what?
right.
If you're considered crazy, I would like to see more crazy people running the country. Honestly, I would.
I think we got some, actually.
I was gonna say
That's
too.
what
But they act
I was
so
gonna
s-
say too.
I bet Harper's never had a sex in
They're
a
just
canoe.
excellent actors. They're superb actors.
And that's
Where
because
are
Harper
their
has
Golden
never had
Globe
sex.
Awards and their Oscars? Because they are, or their Geminis. They deserve them. They're excellent actors.
We could present that in a
Every
canoe.
politician is a good actor. I
I
can
think Trudeau
guarantee
had
it.
sex in a canoe, though.
Oh, I'm sure he did. I'm sure he did.
Oh, yeah, I think Trudeau's probably done everything.
Okay.
I
Donna, we gotta
bet he
go.
has.
Okay, so people,
Oh, what a great
DonnaKakonge.com. There's the book. Or you can buy it on our website. Donna, always a pleasure. Thanks for doing
Thank
this.
you.
Donna.
And we talked about sex a lot, so this will get a lot of hits.
I hope so. I hope so.
Okay, great.
Your last show got a lot of hits. Holy smokes! That one on the that you sent out on the emails, that got a lot of hits.
Okay, we're gonna take a quick break, and we're gonna play Idle No More, because we got the big, protest.
Yes.
Just to find out a little bit about it here. And we're gonna come back with our next guest, Ryan Shanahan, as Lakewood Lunch continues.
Shannon.
The Grand Chief of Canada's Aboriginals is saying that he wants Stephen Harper to engage in dialogue.
Spence is on a hunger strike to draw attention to living conditions on First Nations communities.
I am Janelle LeMabe, and I stand in front of everybody because I'm here to fight.
And we're back again. This is Radio Free Canada. We're just rolling through it as we enjoy our brand new graphics and our brand new format on YouTube.
Yes, and we're enjoying our first week in January 2013.
You know, I am enjoying this week, and I also enjoy blindsiding major news with our new format early.
Well, we like to keep them off balance. I mean, they do a good enough job themselves of doing that.
I know. And a big shout out to my friends, the editors at CHBC and AM 1150 News, for, collecting a paycheck by entertaining everybody.
Well, that's what the news is these days. It's an entertainment business anyway. It's all about ratings and market share.
You guys are doing such a good job entertaining us. We're going to do a good job entertaining you. I'm Darren Howard.
And I'm Robert Nisbet.
We are bringing you out-of-the-box thinking. So if you're just tuning in, remember, we've got all kinds of disclaimers at the beginning of the graphics of the video, so make sure you pay attention to those. But coming up, let's talk about Idle No More. All across the country last weekend, we saw protests from one end of the country to the other, and of course, mainstream news only covered the government side of the story.
Well, exactly. We can't rock the boat.
No, there's a status quo to maintain. We're here to upset it. You're tuned into Radio Free Canada, but let's run our favorite, my personal close friend, Mr. Rick Mercer, to start it off.
The RCMP has recently instructed its officers to aim lower with their tasers. So now more than ever, you need Manfield's taser-proof undergarments. You party with confidence knowing you're protected by 3 layers of conductive and non-conductive materials. Gone are the days when you had to compromise style to prevent electrical charges from reaching your junk. No one will even know you're wearing them. Manfield's taser-proof undergarments are chic, machine washable, and at only 23 pounds, comfortable. And right now at Manfield's, 80% off our taser-proof undershirts. Who knew? Manfield's taser-proof undergarments, because you don't know where the weekend's gonna go.
Looks like my favorite guy, Rick Mercer, and we are going to be focusing on police brutality. And of course, we have Police Brutality Kelowna that's getting major hits on YouTube right now, where we talk about Blaine Gaffney and CHBC News and tasers that should be used or shouldn't.
Yeah, well, you know, I hope the people, I don't know more, are stocking up on their taser-proof underwear. Actually, that's not a very good joke.
Yeah, I know, but still, it does kind of make you laugh because you know what's coming.
Oh, yeah, police repression is never far behind.
No, and of course, we are going to cover the story that major media refuses to cover. Remember, it's not fiscal mismanagement on the native band's part. It's poverty supplied to us by the government that's happening right now.
It's the Harper agenda.
Yeah. The Harper agenda is to eliminate Native Indians in Canada, to assimilate them into a supposedly superior culture that leaves 1 in 4 Canadian children hungry and 300,000 Canadians homeless.
And how many Americans?
You know, it's ridiculous. In the States, there's 4 empty homes for every homeless person. But let's run the clip. Let's start it off.
Joshua Blakeney is our correspondent with us now live via Skype from Calgary. So Joshua, we have here the Grand Chief of Canada's Aboriginals saying that he wants Stephen Harper to engage in dialogue over broken treaties. Now, tell us what specifically he means by those broken treaties and whether Stephen Harper is prepared to discuss them.
Yes, that's a very interesting question. Of course, Canada didn't go along with the American Revolution in the 18th century, and that led to a schism in North America. And one of the reasons that Canada and the US became 2 separate countries was over the issue of how to treat Aboriginal peoples and how to dictate the terms of westward expansion. And Canada formulated the treaty system, which was far more benign in comparison to what we saw in the United States. So, some would say Prime Minister Stephen Harper, he's kind of spitting on that legacy that made Canada look far more rosy in the eyes of the international community comparatively, and that he's trying to kind of copy the US Republican Party's model and the Israeli Likud Party's model of promoting Eurocentric exceptionalism and not heeding to the requests of Aboriginal peoples. The treaties are respected by the Indigenous peoples. The Indigenous peoples would like to see some kind of compromise, try and view an image of Canada as being kind of a collective agreement between the colonizers and the colonized. But that's not the kind of worldview that Prime Minister Stephen Harper seems to support. So the Indigenous peoples would like a treaty to be respected whereby the resources of Canada are shared between the Aboriginal and non-Aboriginal communities. And seemingly the Harper government wants to reject their concerns and kowtow to the interests of the all-powerful resource companies. De Beers mine, as we know until recently, for 80 years was owned by the Zionist Oppenheimer family. So we're beginning to see how the nexus of power in Canada is interwoven invariably with pro-Israel lobbyists and Zionists who are in the media right now in Canada, are sullying the name of those Aboriginal peoples, trying to blame the Aboriginal leadership for the problems of the Aboriginal people in Canada, just as they blame the Palestinians for their leaders for the problems of the Palestinians. They never want to blame the white European settlers, right, but rather the victims. And that's the same discourse that we see with Israel-Palestine that's being deployed right now in Canada by Zionists primarily in the Canadian media, and so the leadership of the Aboriginal people are wising up to this, and are hoping that the Canadian government will back down with their unwillingness to address the legitimate concerns of the Aboriginal peoples, and will to the table and attempt to negotiate a more nuanced and just settlement with the Indigenous peoples of this country.
Thank you very much, Joshua Blakeney, our correspondent there via Skype from Calgary in Canada.
And you know, of course, it's Press TV, a foreign news correspondent that's talking about the fact that we used to have treaties. They've never, ever stuck to the deal with their treaties, and we'll take care of you because we've destroyed your country.
And he's comparing Canada's government with Israel's and the U.S.'s Republican Party.
Yeah, well, I mean, Harper is for sure, he supported Romney. Okay, he supports the Republican Party. He's a conservative Christian. I mean, talk about a reason not to send your kids to church. You'll run into Harper type.
All right, welcome back. So there's a little bit of an insight into the whole Idle No More thing that's going on.
Yeah, I don't know much about that. I guess I need to spend more time watching those videos.
Well, I can't wait to watch the show. Then I can find out what's going on too.
There you go.
Well, actually, we got Ryan Shanahan joining us. And Ryan, have you been paying attention to that Idle No More thing?
No, I have not been.
Well, you know.
So we really can't talk about that today.
Well, that's not what we're here to talk about anyway. With
but
Ryan.
That's okay.
Although I did find that Loblaws dietitian shopping thing, I didn't know they offered that. That was quite interesting.
Actually, for you, that would be really interesting because diet's very important as a fitness person, right?
Absolutely, and it's something that I don't really like going over. So if I can send people right to Loblaws, and make things so much easier.
Do you tell them not to go to McDonald's? Hugh?
I don't.
As a fitness expert, would you agree with Donna? Okay, McDonald's is not good.
Well, I would advise people to choose food that contains a lot of healthy nutrients.
So does that mean not going to McDonald's? Come on.
But, you know, when I'm driving to Montreal, I'm going to stop and get Timbits, or I'm going to get a Big Mac just because it's convenient.
Okay.
Okay. But, you know, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I would advise against that. Yeah. It's probably not the best thing for
so
health-wise.
So this is like, you know, a once in a while thing as opposed to like a mainstay.
You know, I look forward to those drives to Montreal.
Yeah, right? Absolutely.
Yeah. In fact, that's when I had my first Buddy Burger at the A&W.
Yep.
Oh my God. I had my last Buddy Burger on Monthly.
I'm a 40 Timbits guy, and that lasts
40.
That lasts me the whole trip.
That's way too many Timbits.
40. You got a sugar rush?
Yeah, I'm a big guy, you know, so 20 just doesn't fill me up.
No.
Wow.
But seriously, okay, Ryan, because we're talking, you're a fitness expert.
Right.
You're in the fitness business. But seriously, 40 Timbits. I mean, because I know, I'll tell you once.
That's why he has to be in the fitness industry.
I once bought a whole tray of, I went into this bakery and they were just pulling the hot cross buns out of the oven, okay? And they were like fabulous. Like it was the best hot cross bun experience I've ever had. But I couldn't help but eat the whole tray. I had to eat the whole tray.
Well, yeah, once there's no off switch.
No,
right.
there was no I ate the whole tray.
Oh my God, that's just gluttony.
Which is great when you're in university because you burn it off. But now, you know, after 30 and their 40s, it starts to stick to the stomach. So
well, you know what the point I'm trying to get to is after I ate that tray, I felt lousy. You know, I had a bad afternoon.
Right.
And I'm just, and you're a fitness guy, so to eat 40 Timbits, I'm just, do you feel that? Because as you say, when you're young, I think as you get older, you start to feel it. Your body, you notice how your body's reacting to food and to fitness and to all that kind of stuff.
Oh, sure. You know, I eat the 40 Timbits and I'm like, I'm never going to do that again. Yeah. But, you know, I only drive to Montreal maybe twice a year. So, you know, it's that,
Just you so forget. I hope. But do you feel like you have this rock in your stomach afterwards? But then you don't eat them all at once. You ate those hot cross buns all at once, right? So that probably is what did it. You just had this ball of dough
I tried to resist.
in your belly.
I just couldn't stop.
Now, would you do it again?
I would definitely order the hot.
Yeah.
cross buns, and I would definitely eat one. And Ryan, if you're right and there's no off switch, I just might have to eat that whole tray.
How about when you're walking through an airport and you get the waft of the Cinnabons coming at you? I mean,
Please.
yeah, it is.
I
like-
used to get off the subway at Eglinton just to go get a Cinnabon.
Or Union Station, yeah. But they changed the formula now, so it's
They
not
did?
quite the same. Yeah,
Really? They
did?
yeah. They changed the icing. It's not quite the
It
same.
was too much before. It
Oh,
was
yeah?
too sweet. I don't mind if they take a little of that sugar off.
Okay, were they bought out? Is that why they did that?
I think so. Yes, I think it was bought
I
out.
hate when
yeah.
that happens.
Yeah. So I don't like the new formula, so
The
I'm safe
Cinnabon.
on
I'm gonna
those,
have to
yeah.
go try a Cinnabon now. You gotta be curious.
See, now he's going to go with the whole tray.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. They got to have one over at the Eaton Center. I'm gonna go after the show and get a Cinnabon.
Yeah, well, I'm a fitness trainer. I can't let you do that. I'm going to advise against that.
Okay. Well, let's talk about what you do as a fitness expert, because
Yes.
you've got a
And now all of a sudden
website.
it goes dead. Okay, now we're talking about fitness.
Yeah, we're going to get serious.
And is
here.
that actually before we get serious? Because you were here on Spencer Miller's show.
That's right. I was in the studio here a few years ago.
And what was? Do you know Spencer, or how did you come to be on his show? Just
I was on, Spencer's a very interesting character. I was on the Off the Record show with Michael Lansdale a few times, and he had, I don't know how he got my number, but he called me up and he goes, "Hey, it's Spencer, you know, I'd like to meet you and get a workout with you." And so I met him, and, you know, we struck up a friendship, and he had a show here. I was on it a few times. And that's what actually led me to come back to the website, because I had a really good time here. I want to start my own show, and I kind of rediscovered thatchannel.com.
Wow.
That's great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And we're having some fun today.
Yeah.
Aren't we?
Yeah.
Okay. So, well, let's talk about, you know, what you do as a fitness expert.
Okay.
Like, you know, what is your business consist of?
You know, I started back when I was 15 years old at a Gold's Gym in Ajax.
Oh my God, Gold's Gym.
Gold's
Are they still
Gym, yeah,
around?
yeah. There's still some franchises around.
Wow. Okay.
And I was 15, and I actually went in and told them I was 18. Luckily, I was a big kid, and so you had to be 18 to get a job there.
Okay.
So I was at 15. I was a fitness instructor.
They didn't ask you for ID or anything?
It's the gym business, you know.
Wow.
But the thing was, I was a really good trainer. I was bringing in clients. I was
Okay.
making money for them.
Okay.
And then at 21, I started my own personal training business, working downtown Toronto. And I even, you know, I was playing professional hockey for a little bit. Kind
Okay.
of had a cup of coffee in the pros. And even then, during off days, I was training the coaches' wives and the players' wives in the gym. So it was my passion, and I knew that. I always think a wise man once told me that. Actually, it was my wife. She said, you know, find something you're really good at it and give it all you've got. So I'm really good at teaching fitness. I've given it everything I've got. I now have one of the best-selling fitness DVDs in the world. I was just dubbed in Japanese, which is
Wow.
really cool. Yeah, the lips are moving and the voice doesn't match.
Congratulations.
It's totally
That's
awesome.
Godzilla must get custody of the child.
And you know, I've trained thousands of people from all walks of life, all different fitness levels.
So do you specialize in women, though? It sounds like you do a lot with women.
I have a lot of different target markets.
Okay.
My specialty, I'm not an extreme workout guy. If you're a ex-Navy SEAL, I'm probably not the workout for you.
Okay.
But
So
you know,
Jesse Ventura should not be knocking on your door.
yeah, yeah, we can get into conspiracies here too. I think
oh,
you
that's
like
true.
that, right? Did they really land on the moon?
Well, you know what? Funny you should bring that up. Because you know what? The more I think about it, the more I tend to think they didn't.
But Edgar Mitchell swears.
Here's what I've heard.
Okay.
They did land on the moon.
Yeah.
The footage, they added some extra footage in there to make it look better, to present it better. So they did land, but they did add extra footage in later, filmed in a studio, just to make it more presentable.
How do you keep something like that secret for so long?
Yeah, interesting. Is it a secret? We're talking about it.
Yeah.
We're talking
well, no.
about it, but
Here's how they
it's-
do. Here's how they do it. Because I've watched all the videos,
Yes.
right? Okay. They do it because they were all Freemasons. all the astronauts were Freemasons. So if they're all sworn to
Edgar Mitchell's
an
a
oath,
Freemason?
yeah. Well, from what I've heard, okay.
Wow.
So
Do you know the Freemason handshake?
No.
So it's just as simple like that.
Yeah.
Very subtle, but you know.
Okay.
Isn't that? Are you Freemason?
No.
How do you know that?
You know, I'm like both of you. I'm very interested in a wide range of topics. I'm very curious. Yeah.
Wow.
I talk to a lot of people.
Wow.
So I'll tell you, can we? Do you mind sticking on this moon topic for a minute?
Oh, absolutely.
In fact, I got some footage. I will put it. I'll put it in the edited version at the end of our interview. That kind of is one thing that might be. This is some real smoking gun video evidence that got out, and it tends to make me think that maybe it might be some evidence that they didn't do it. But when I think about it, you know, and when the moon shots were happening, I was into that.
Right.
I was like, I studied all the stuff. I knew what the escape velocity were. I mean, I was like, I knew what the science was behind it. And so that rocket, you see the size of the rocket that it takes to escape the Earth's gravity, right? Now, the moon's got 1/6 the gravity of, and so you theoretically, you're going to need a rocket 1/6 the size of the Saturn V to get the lunar lander off the surface of the moon. But no, it's just a little lunar lander, and they go press the button and it takes off.
So you think
and
it's fake?
I think that is just not plausible. That's one of the things that
right.
And also,
If any for any physicists
and
who are
also
watching this show,
the way that they're jumping around on the moon, that doesn't look like 1/6 gravity.
Right, and they bounce, then they spring right back up.
And
the dust doesn't always
that there's
match
some
with
wires,
the jumping.
and also a lot of. And this is just what I've seen on YouTube. Is that some of the backgrounds, like they're supposed to be over here near this crater, and then now they're 5 miles away over here, but the background is kind of the same.
and you know what? The truth is, how do you really know? I mean, Edgar Mitchell really thinks he was on the moon. I believe that he really believes that. But the thing is, how do you actually know that's where you went? When you're in space, I mean, how do you have that GPS and know that you were on the moon and not some other crater or something? How could you know if you weren't? Could you?
Well,
Is that a dumb question?
Have you been to the meteor landing site out in the Arizona desert?
No, I haven't been there.
Very interesting. So they're saying they actually filmed some of the moon landing footage there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I
So
think
if you're ever
also-
on a road trip, Route 66, check that out.
I think they also filmed some in Sudbury.
I know they practiced in Sudbury.
I think they filmed some there too. 'Cause growing up in Sudbury, yeah, it's pretty close resemblance.
Okay. No, but they couldn't land on it. There's nothing else close enough that they could land on. There's
Well, how do you
nothing
know they
else.
went in that direction? Well, how about is there could they have gone in another direction?
No.
And how do you know they went that their whole whatever you call that odometer thing could have been all messed up?
No.
How would you know that?
Well.
Now, what do you think about the Virgin space flight? Would you book a flight on there to go out to outer space, commercial flight?
I wouldn't really
What do they
know.
do?
Once you're in black space, how do you know where you are? How do you know where you're going? Seriously, how do you know?
I think they have windows.
Yeah, they do.
Okay, but what's your marker? Okay,
Don't
there's
worry. When you're sitting there looking out the window and there's a giant rocket and you're going up, you know,
You have no
next
idea
stop,
where-
space.
yeah, but where in space?
Well, you can't go too far. You got to go into orbit first, right? I'm not sure I would do that.
Okay.
Though, Ryan.
Why not?
Just
I wouldn't
because.
You're Canadian and we don't take risks?
Well, you
Is
know
that
what?
why?
I mean, I'll tell you, the example I think of is
There's no
skydiving.
Right.
Because
Okay?
there's no
I don't
canoe
think I would
there.
skydive.
Right.
Oh, I would
Why take the gamble?
Well, I had a friend actually did it, and his chute didn't open, and he woke up in the hospital after his maiden jump. He got all tangled up, and you know.
Okay, so that's enough to scare anybody from
Right.
the
Yeah,
person.
sure.
Plus, I don't think they have canoes up there, right?
You mean to have sex in? Is that what you're talking about?
Hey, Sandra.
Yeah.
Are you a canoe fan?
A canoe, yeah.
Have you seen Paddling Brian's?
We had those guys on the show.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, those guys are great.
Yeah.
You should have seen the interview we did. It was
Really?
hilarious.
Oh, I'll check
We
it
had
out
an
online. Is it
amazing
online? Is it posted online?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, just look them up on our site.
Hugely fun.
Yeah,
Great show.
it
Yeah.
was good. I wonder if those guys are probably had sex in a canoe.
Probably live their life in the canoe.
Well, they are
Everything.
Canadian.
And they,
How about you, Ryan? Do you canoe?
Yes, I'm an avid outdoorsman.
Do you have your own canoe?
No, I don't.
Oh.
Yeah, I usually use someone else's
Okay.
canoe. Yeah.
Do you have because I've had many canoes and I had to gone through the different materials. Like, what's your favorite canoe construction materials?
do you know anything about that?
Like, is it fiberglass, aluminum, birch bark?
Yeah, I like natural woods, something handcrafted.
Like those cedar canoes?
I'm not familiar with that, but does
Like
that look very woody? Like
very
something
woody.
the Voyageurs
It's like
would
really
be.
woody looking. But
Davy Crockett?
the problem
was he a canoe guy? Was he more of a land guy?
Yeah.
Well, how did he get to land? He must have had his canoe to get to land.
Anyway, the problem with the cedar strip canoes is they're too heavy. Because you think about portaging, you want to go light. Right?
So you almost want to do modern technology materials, fiberglass.
Well, every canoe has its own. I had a fiberglass. They tend to, they're okay. They're not super lightweight, but they can get holes in them easy. Like you hit a rock and you get a hole, right?
We don't want that.
Okay.
Anyway, so aluminum makes a sound, that tinny sound when you're on the water, right? You don't want that. No. You want the nice, pristine quiet of
Unless
the
you want to
wilderness.
kind of make some tinny music, that's kind of cool. Or like the paddling
You
Brian.
need to get in any kind of canoe. Any kind of canoe, Sandra, as quickly as possible and prove that you're Canadian. 'Cause I'm starting to doubt.
Me too, actually. We're on the same page there. Oh my goodness. Should we talk about fitness?
Yeah. Let's get
let's bring it back
to that fitness thing. So,
Good segue. Change the
but
topic.
actually, I just curious. Like 15 years old, you must have been driven to at the age of 15 go in and say and not only just go in and have the gumption to go get the job, but also to be bringing clients in like right from the get-go.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah.
And who were your clients? Other 15-year-olds?
First, I started bringing in some of the guys from my football team from high school. So I'd get them to sign up for memberships, and then I would train them. And then there would be some other guys in the gym, mostly family members. The uncle that was at the gym, and I would show him some stuff, and then it just expanded.
So you had a
from
lot
that.
of support to help boost your confidence.
Yeah, this was a long time ago. This is over 20 years ago. So, there was the 80s fitness boom, but there wasn't very much, there wasn't personal trainers around.
Right.
Just the word was very kind of, I told my mom and dad I want to be a personal trainer, and they're like, what the heck, what I mean? Yeah. It's like saying I want to be a painter.
Yeah.
It's just, what are you talking about? It doesn't exist.
No, wait a sec. But at 15, you were NHL bound already at that point, weren't you? I mean, you kind of know when you're 15 if you're gonna.
Yeah, you always got to have a plan B.
Yeah.
My dad played professional hockey. He was won the cup with the Montreal Canadiens. So, I was good. I had it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I got to tell you, I'm a much better fitness trainer than I am a hockey player.
Now, why is that?
It's what I do. It's what
You
I do.
actually, because I think a lot of your talent, and I don't know anything about fitness or your skill set in fitness, but you're a very good communicator.
I've been.
And it's
you
really
have to be.
important to listen to the person,
Yes.
right?
Communication is important. I mean, we haven't quite got to the telepathy yet. Although, Sandra, I think you can read minds. I think all women can read men's minds. They just haven't.
Absolutely.
There you go. How does they keep a secret not landing in the moon? It's the same way women keep their secrets,
Good point.
There
Okay,
it is. It's
enough
wrapped
said.
up.
I think
yeah,
I've been found
we
out.
figured it out.
But so what makes yours different? Because you said you're doing very well with your DVD, right? Or you
Right.
have
Number one best-selling in the world.
Awesome.
Right.
So what do you think your secret is, or that if you're willing to talk about it?
You have to be a good business person. You have to also be, I think you have to live it. There's a lot of people that are, for example, Tony Horton, the P90X guy. I'm not slamming him, but the reality is he was an actor who is playing a role of a personal trainer. Same thing with Jillian Michaels. She's an actress playing the role of a personal trainer. Me, I'm a guy who lives. This isn't a part of my life. This is my life. I live and breathe it. I'm married, so I have 2 kids. I understand the challenges of fitting a workout into the time constraints of a real life. So I understand those problems, and I'm very good at communicating the solutions and showing you the solutions to those problems and how to get in shape. And being healthy leads to happiness. It leads to greater wealth. It leads to a lot of different things. So, you know, at the end of the day, if you don't have health, you don't have anything.
Right.
Okay. You know what? Okay. And you got a great attitude.
Yeah, because I was just going to say, healthy makes
awesome.
a great attitude, which makes everything else.
But you know, I was just thinking, and this is I'm going to tie this back to the conspiracy stuff here now, because I was just thinking the other day, like, you know, like we got fluoride in the water, right? And I was just, I heard something like, you know, it makes bones brittle, and we got more hip fractures than ever before.
Well, that's why we use Tom's non-fluoride toothpaste.
Well, okay. I mean, that's one strategy, but still, you're drinking the water.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm drinking the water right here.
Sure, you get I would highly recommend getting a reverse osmosis system, or even just the Brita or something that will remove the fluoride.
Yeah. Do you do that?
Yes, I do.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you concerned about fluoride in the water, or just everything about the water?
It's funny. A friend of mine, he needed a job, so he got a job as selling water filters. And you know, he said, "Can I come over and do the test on you?" And I live down in the beaches, and he did the test, and it actually showed that our water was very clean. It didn't.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So you know, that gave me. I feel confident about it.
So did you buy the water thing? Because he just sold himself away, didn't he?
Yeah.
He didn't make the sale.
Yeah. No, he stopped the job right after that. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Was it one of those Kangen machines?
It wasn't. It's probably something similar to that. Okay. The Kangens are really good, I've heard. Yeah.
Although I don't think they filter out the
fluoride.
The fluoride.
Yeah. I don't know about that.
But I mean, and it seems like there's so many things that seem to be assaulting our health these days.
Sure.
Like pharmaceuticals. There seems to be more and more stuff they're putting in the DSM, and now shyness is now a disease. It's called social anxiety disease. I mean, all this. It seems we're being assaulted on all fronts.
The more reason to treat your body with care.
Well, I think when you have a healthy body, you'll have a healthy mind as a result of it, and that brings the attitude. And so if you have the positive attitude, even if you are drinking fluoride in your water, it's not going to have that kind of effect on you, as opposed to if you are all worried and in fear when you're drinking your water.
You're probably right.
Self-fulfilling prophecy.
That's very interesting, because there's I believe he was an artist, and he had glasses of water or tanks of water, and he would write a hate and put it on the water, and then he would write happiness and put it on the water. And actually, under microscopes, it changed the molecule of the water.
Yes. I think it's called Messages from Water.
Yeah, that's about Dr. Emoto, the Japanese
right.
doctor.
And
he's actually been here, by the way. He's been here at the station.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is the place to be.
So with your fitness experts, do you do this? Is it just in person, Ryan, or can you do this online? How do you do what you do?
Sandra, great question. I did work in gyms one-on-one. What I'm doing now is I'm actually doing live workouts online.
Oh, wow. So do people sign up for like a group? Is this like do you do one-on-one online? Or is it like, do you say, I'm having a session from 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock and you can join in?
So here, it's Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. You log on to ryanraw.com.
Ryan Raw.
Right. And you open up your computer. All you need is a laptop and Wi-Fi. You log on. It's $10 per workout. And you have me live giving you a follow-along workout for 60 minutes, just like you would go to a gym and follow someone. But you don't have to deal with all the germs and the sweaty guys, you know what I mean? You're right in your living room, and here's what's really cool is you have people all over the world joining in.
Yeah.
So you can block yourself so no one sees you, but it's really cool because you can see everyone in their living rooms working out, from Texas to Canada to people from Japan, all joining in, and it's the future, and it's spectacular, and for me, it's a lot of fun, and it's great. And you know, it takes forever to make a DVD. Yeah. My DVDs are great, but it takes about 2 years to get new product out. Here, you get a new workout every week.
Wow, that's amazing. I just love the way everybody's using technology.
Well, you know, it's kind of interesting because that's today, right? That's you and Ron, our first guest, are both doing the same kind of thing, like
Very
live
similar,
on the internet.
That's right.
And really, that's the first time I've heard of that. And now here, first day of 2013, and we got two doing it in one show.
Well, they're saying by 2016, everything is going to shift over to online. So online TV, online personal training.
Bodes well for.
Yeah, and I mean, that's something that you've been doing for how many years now have you been doing this?
He's a pioneer.
Started the station in 2004 and started the show in 2006. So.
Wow.
Awesome. And I'm sure you've heard a lot of people saying, no, you can't do this, or it's a bad idea, or you've probably had some obstacles where you maybe I should stop doing this. Is that true?
Oh yeah.
Right.
You know, yeah, for sure.
Right.
Wow.
But you're still doing it.
We're still doing it and figuring it out on a day-to-day basis. And
but this is it. This is where it's going.
This is it.
Because all the big NBC, CBC, all those guys, you should go into their studios, and they're scrambling. They're all panicking. They don't get, the news people are like, I don't think I'm gonna have a job. The stations are like, what do we do? They're not transitioning yet. We're here. You're already doing it.
Well, you know, that's. I mean, when I watching CBC, right? It's supposed to be our national public broadcaster, and they only got like 3 or 4 people on the air. I mean, think of the money that CBC spends every year, every day, and they got only a handful of on-air personalities.
Yes.
And they're doing multiple shows, and I'm just going, there's got to be a better way. And there's all these guys, them and all the other big players, they're all so overcapitalized, right? That there's all that overhead that they got to pay, and that's what they're struggling with. And yeah, it's.
So for back to this,
yes.
so what's the response been like? How long have you been doing this?
Well, I started in last October.
Okay.
And it was very new to me, so I had to open my mind to it. And I'm a very open person, so now to try to get other people to open their minds to this new idea is, here, listen, I'm going to tell you a little story, okay? I have sold over 1 million copies of my DVD.
Okay.
So when I say, okay, I'm going to start doing live classes, you would expect...
You'd have a great audience.
Yeah, a great audience. 2 people showed up for about 3 months. And, you know, of course, the ego part of me was like, hey, where is everyone? Everyone should be signing up. But the reality is, this is new. You have to... Life is like a game of chutes and ladders.
Education.
Well, plus, the marketplace has to catch up.
Right. And people you have to educate people.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm doing. So now we're up to, you know, any Saturday could be 12 to 20 people.
That's fantastic.
And it just starts to grow.
It'll probably grow exponentially too, right? Once it hits like a threshold, it's probably going to just burst open.
Right. Word of mouth is very important.
Yes.
Right. So I'm hoping it'll be the next 50 Shades of Grey, where everyone's talking about it.
So so now what kind of person should sign up for this class? Do you have to be, you know, basic? Can you be overweight? Like, what, you know, how rigorous, how strenuous is this workout?
Someone should be positive and motivated, and at the point where I got to make a change.
Okay.
That's who has to sign up.
Okay.
And I modify the workouts so someone just getting back into a workout can join in.
Okay.
And then there's people that have done the classes for 3 months who I keep challenged. That's what makes me so good, is I can take a beginner to an advanced. I can take an Olympic athlete in the same class and keep them challenged.
That's amazing. That is a real skill.
Well, it is. It's a skill. It's an art, and it's my passion. So, you know, I've put over my 10,000 hours into developing that.
Wow, good for you. That's awesome.
Well, that's great, Ryan. So if people want to check it out, I know you've got RyanShanahan.com.
Yes, that's kind of my main portal, but the online training all happens at ryanraw.com.
Is it R-A?
RyanRaw.com.
Okay, so-
Are you into the raw food thing too? Is that the raw?
No, this is, no lights, no makeup, no editors. This is just the webcam, me in my home giving you a workout.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Is there anything else you want to mention?
RyanRaw.com, and I'm a big believer in karma. Whatever you put out, it comes back. So make sure that you're putting out good karma.
So this is pretty cool because you're not just the bronze, it's the brains too. That's pretty amazing. That's a pretty cool combination.
Treat people the way you want to be treated.
Yeah.
That's also a parent, I think, should listen to that too.
And you know who else should listen? The Illuminati.
Anonymous.
And those reptilian shapeshifters. Speaking of which, okay, Ryan, thanks for doing this today. We look forward to having you back on the station.
Thank you very much.
So much. See,
Thank
that's
you.
a Freemason thing. See what you just did?
And we're going to watch the video now that proves they didn't land on the moon. And then we're going to come back with Dianne
Or they landed
Ojar.
somewhere. They actually landed in Sudbury.
Dianne Ojar Ali with her book Mrs. Fraud and You is out, and we're looking forward to the book launch tomorrow. So here's the
You might
proof.
actually see my old home in Sudbury when you watch the video.
Okay, we'll be right back.
I'm going to step off the left now. That's one small step for man, one giant leap. So, I guess you want to do it again. Okay. Sorry, Mr. Dvorsky.
Okay, we're back here on the show, and we've got Dianne Ojar Ali. And Dianne, finally, the book is out.
No,
What?
this is my business card.
That's your
And
business.
you, this
It looks
is
like a
for
book.
you. It is, but it's a
Thank you.
business card.
I know,
it's
but
the
I
best
wanted-
business card, Sandra.
Thank you.
I want to hold it up. That's the book, Mrs. Fraud and You. It's been a long time in the works, right?
That's
Dianne?
right.
This is amazing. I love, you know what that strikes me, we were talking about this earlier,
Yes.
is the size of the book.
Yes.
It's a perfect little size. You know what? It goes in my purse. I love that.
That was one of the reasons why I wanted it to be smaller. But we were looking at like about a 6x9. But if we went taller, we would have gone thinner. And then you have to add more content.
Yes,
And
yeah.
I didn't want to add more content because when would you stop?
Yes, yes. I love the fact that it's small, but it doesn't look like there's a lot of content, so it does look like I could read this relatively quickly,
Yes.
which is what people want.
Absolutely.
Right?
You can read in less than 3 hours.
Wow.
And that's what I wanted.
Okay, Dianne. So let's talk about the book, Mrs. Fraud and You.
Yes. Do I not look like Mrs. Fraud today? I could be the most
Are you-
professional.
are you- are
Is
you
that you
Mrs.
on the
Fraud?
cover? Because I was trying to figure that out, actually.
What do you think?
You know, your hair's longer if it's you, but I'm trying to look at the eyebrows. The eyebrows don't look like you.
No, it's not me. But
Okay.
ironic, most people think it's me. And I know it's
that
very
just-
striking.
No, this
Who
is-
is it? Who is it? Do you even know?
It's a
No, it's just
fraudster. It's a fraudster.
It's just an image.
She's a
Right?
fraud. So it can't be you because you're not a fraud, so it can't be you.
But actually, my designer from online, from 99 Designs, he's from Indonesia.
Wow.
And about the last hour of the contest, he came up with this. It was amazing. When I saw it, I said, this is it. This is it.
Awesome.
Yes, thank you.
So let's talk a little bit about the book, Mrs.
Yes.
Fraud and You. What does that title mean? What can people expect
Who's
in
Mrs.
this
Fraud?
fabulous
Who's not
new
Mrs.
book?
Fraud is what it is.
I'm not Mrs. Fraud.
You can be.
I can?
Mr. Fraud.
Yeah.
Okay, so then let's look. Who is Mr. Who is not? Okay, what is that? What can you?
Well, what happened is, coming from the banking industry.
Okay.
My background is the banking industry. I took the calls, I spoke to people, but you could be behind the scenes, be Mrs. Fraud.
Who can?
Anybody can. Think about
Are
it.
there tips in here how to be Mrs. Fraud?
No,
That's another book. We had this conversation the last time, Hugh,
Did we?
many times.
I can't remember. This is why I keep telling the same jokes.
all the
Same
time,
jokes.
and we laughed just like we heard for the first time here.
Okay, so there's no tips. Can you reverse engineer the book, though?
Okay, well, who is Mrs. Fraud? Can you educate me on that? What is that? What does that mean?
Well, what happened is most people think the fraudster is a male figure.
Okay. That's true.
However, they forget about the females and the kids and the youths and the dogs and the monkeys, like the gypsies. It could be anyone.
Okay.
Anyone. But for the character of the book, I have to tell the story how they came up with the Mrs. Fraud, because this is where people are like, why is it Mrs. Fraud?
Yeah.
First it was Mr. Fraud, and when I Googled it to get the domain name, it was associated with a Bollywood movie that never released. So I didn't want to be associated, and I thought, oh, Mrs. Fraud. And then I said, oh, a woman writing, why not Mrs. Fraud?
Yeah, yeah.
That's how it came about. And everybody loves it. They call me Mrs. Fraud.
So
everywhere I go. So my husband is starting to as well now.
Okay, so it says, will you be the victim or victor when she comes knocking?
It's your choice. Do you want to protect yourself? Do you want to be street smart? It's common sense.
Okay.
So a lot of people are very lack in the knowledge. They're not educated.
Okay.
Why? Because again, they choose to.
Okay.
So you could be the victim and not do anything about it, or choose to be the victor and do something about it.
And this is the victim or the victor in the face of some sort of fraudulent activity, or somebody's trying to rip you off. Is that accurate?
Yes, but also the fact that you should have some sort of type of protection. And there are services available, one of the services with a company I'm with, where you can actually protect yourself prior. So if something happens, you have someone to talk to. Because it is the #1 risk management company in the world who works with the government, the RCMPs, Saddam Hussein, Enron, and they're the company who work with us and protect us. So if something happens to me, I just go straight to them and they help me.
Now, when you say something happens to you, like what?
I become a victim. Whether somebody do a true identity takeover, whether it be a mortgage fraud, whether it be compromise, I can ask any questions I want.
Okay.
Just to make sure. Put my credit bureau reports. There is a law now in Ontario that if you are a victim, you should be pulling your credit bureau report every 3 months and report. You can be held responsible for that. So a lot of people don't know these little things, and it's all in the book. There's little tips in the book as well. There's a questionnaire in the book as well. Read it.
It's interesting. I'm just trying to think about this, because most people walk around.
Let's pull out your wallet now. Let's see what's in your wallet. I'm serious.
I'm afraid I don't have my wallet on me.
Bring your wallet. Just pull the wallet out.
I don't have it here, though, Dianne. It's upstairs. But
for example, why is your wallet upstairs and you're downstairs? Let's talk about that. That's interesting.
Well, here's what happened. I pulled a bit of a fraud myself. I had my wallet in my one jacket, and then last night when I went to the liquor store with a friend, I wore a different jacket, and I thought I had my wallet. But then when we got to the cash to pay for the booze, I said, oh, I've left my wallet in my other jacket.
So it's interesting that we're live and we're talking about you sitting here and your wallet is not here.
Perfect candidate.
I know, exactly. And this is perfect. I mean, perfect. Please don't defraud him. I'll be responsible for that. But seriously, even in the new credit cards, if you look at the new credit cards, they have the RFID.
Yeah.
You know what
the chip?
It's not the chip, it's the RFID symbol.
Okay.
That's electronic pickpocketing. And what that means is that you can have a wireless scanner hooked up to a laptop, and you can scan the whole room. Say you're in a party, let's say my book launch tomorrow, you can scan the whole room.
That's good. Where do we get these scanners?
We'll talk about it.
See, I got to reverse engineer the book.
What?
Okay.
It's called Mrs. Fraud and You, How to Protect Yourself. Maybe I should have put How to Protect Yourself Against from Hugh, is what I should
Yes, you know, if you had that, then you could have these credit cards in every single jacket, and then it doesn't matter which jacket you took to the liquor store, you wouldn't have to worry.
Okay, wait. Deanne, I have a question though, because you're
talking
about.
I don't think this interview is going that well for Deanne right now.
No, I'm fine. I'm loving this. I'm loving this because it interests me how his mind works.
Have you ever been in a canoe?
Sorry? A canoe?
Have you ever been in a canoe?
I had a.
And did you have your wallet with you?
I actually had a paddleboat that was stolen up at the trailer.
Oh my God! I hope you didn't have your wallet with you then.
No, it was over the winter. It wasn't.
They stole it over the winter?
Yeah, it was a friend's shed, and they stole it. That's
you know, I could have bought a paddleboat last summer for $100. That's cheap for a paddleboat.
Yes, I know. I paid like $700. It was on sale.
I know.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. That's a lot of money.
Okay.
It is a lot of money. It was on sale.
Well, see, that's more fraud, right?
It is.
More fraud.
That's the thing about fraud. People believe there are different types of fraud.
Yeah.
It's pretty much taking something away from somebody without permission to gain.
Is it the same thing as
revenues.
theft then? Like if you put your cell phone down, somebody walks and takes your cell phone. Is that fraud or is that just theft?
That's theft is what they do with the information.
Oh,
It's the information.
It's the
Really, it's the
information.
information use, right?
Okay, so we're
I was sitting with a news reporter. We were doing an interview for which will be in this Thursday newspaper, the Caribbean Camera. We did an interview on myself, and he actually had his citizenship, his social insurance number, the original one. He had everything in his wallet, and I'm thinking, you're such a hoarder. Why do you have all these things in here? Just have it.
George Costanza had the same problem.
Mm-hmm. And he got burned for it, right? Didn't he?
Well, he went to close his wallet and everything went all over the place.
Yes.
Wow.
And that's what it is. People are breaking into people's homes. Geotags. For geotag.
What's that? What is it?
Geotags.
What is that? A geotag?
Do you have a smartphone?
Yes.
Do you upload pictures
Yes.
of where you are?
No.
Yes.
Do you go online and they tell you exactly where you are?
I don't. I put no on that.
I don't do that.
That's geotags.
So geography, tagging you geographically.
Exactly. So what happens is that, the satellite is picking up the location. So people can actually monitor you and know if you're not home. And they can break it.
So
and
now,
people do that.
Isn't this some? Now, government uses this a lot too.
The Illuminati.
Isn't this considered an invasion?
You love that word, don't you?
I like reptilian shape-shifting alienoids better.
Yeah, they don't need geotags to find out where you are.
But that's right. But yeah, I could see that happening, yes. and that information gets into the wrong hands, and you can get into some serious trouble. What about this thing? I'm noticing now, like with your Gmail and Hotmail and all that stuff. Now they want your cell phone number.
Yeah, what
it's
is up
not
with that?
enough, and to me, that's a little disturbing. How do you feel about that?
My intake on anybody who needs additional information that don't need additional information should not. You should question it. Ask questions.
Yeah.
That also says in the book. To ask questions. If you're not comfortable, you know that gut feeling?
Yeah.
And I know you're into a lot of spiritual.
Yeah.
And of course, that's another journey I'm on as well. And if your gut feeling doesn't feel right, listen to it. Your unconscious mind is to protect you.
Yeah. Yes.
So if something's not right, why do you have to sign up? If you're not comfortable, there's no reason why. I don't have data on my cell phone. I get my emails, I get my texts. No, I don't have data because I don't want to look at the little screen. It drives me nuts. But
well, yeah, but it seems with all this convergence of all this technology that the opportunity for fraud is greater than ever.
And that's what bothers. That's what
for good or bad. It depends on how you use and how you look at it. Too.
And that's what blows me away, though. You would think that if they're smart enough to come up with the technology to create all this stuff, why aren't they smart enough to put stops in place so that it can't go into the wrong hands?
If you look at the fraudsters or the hackers are way ahead of you. They're way ahead of the banks.
That's anonymous, actually. They're hackers, anonymous. I don't know if you heard about them, but they closed down a major credit card company.
Many major credit card companies. I remember when I was at bank, we would get. Obviously, we do not get it the same day because they have to confirm the information. And we would get a couple of days after, we'd be bombarded with calls because now we have to figure out exactly what we need to do. And it gets very chaotic, and that's the problem. People are too willing. There's a big fraud that's going on the P region side with the lotto winners, and they're talking to these older seniors.
What happened?
Say you win the lottery, but in order to claim your prize, you have to pay so much for insurance and taxes. There's this one lady over $100-something thousand. And when it didn't deliver, then she told a family member, and then they took it to the newspaper and so forth, the media. It's sad, but everybody is just like a sitting duck. We're all victims at some point. Which, by the way, actually, why I was getting dressed to come here, I had just like tomorrow you'll find out about it. I can't tell you, it's a secret. But I'm gonna have people voting on my next book, which is about really stories and testimonials. So you'll see the titles tomorrow. So you're going to get to vote on it. when you come to the book launch.
Okay, awesome. Looking
That is
forward to
aha
it.
moment.
It's tomorrow, the book launch at Jack Astor's
That's right.
on Progress Avenue, right
That's right.
near the Scarborough Town Center.
580, that's correct.
580 Progress Avenue.
From 6 to 10.
And it's...
Now, Hugh said he's going to be there. This is on camera. So,
Well, I have it in my schedule, Deanne. So
Calendar.
I am, it's on my agenda to go out to Scarborough tomorrow and have fun
Are you
at
biking?
your book launch.
Are you going to bike there?
No.
Okay.
I'm going to take the TTC because the LRT goes right to
That's
the
correct.
place pretty much,
And
right?
that's one of the reasons why, just like, why did I pick this size of the book and so forth. If it's not convenient for me, it's not going to be convenient for others. And that's where I look at things.
Yeah.
I wanted subway-wise because I didn't know what the weather was going to be like. Close to the 401.
Absolutely, just off the highway. So
That's correct.
plus if you live in Scarborough, you're already there.
It's close to me. But one of the things I wanted to mention too, Sandra, was the book symposium we're having on February 28th.
Oh, yes, yes.
Which I will be speaking, and if you look at the cover, I am actually on the cover as well, and I also have an article in this magazine, this issue, as well as the one in February. So if you look on page 7, you see the article there.
Oh, yeah. Transformational book story.
Yes, I was asked to talk about the journey, because what's happening is the editor of the magazine was saying to me she seemed to be coming a lot of people who write a book, don't know what to do with the book, are stuck, and haven't completed. And we've gone through that roller coaster journey. So I wrote an article about Transformational book story, and it's
Wow.
there. And the symposium is going to be on February 28th, which I also will be speaking as well.
Well, who should go to that? What
Everybody.
kind of people?
Everybody who is
A book symposium. Anybody who is trying to get their book published?
anybody who has an interest, which ironically enough is everybody who has a dream to tell a story or don't know where to start. So for example, if you don't have a book, but you've thought maybe, you know what, it might be interesting. Oh, it's something I want to come out. There's something for everyone.
Okay, sounds
This is
good.
wonderful.
Now,
Wow.
where can people get, first of all, more information about that event?
Yes.
Is there a website for that?
It's a Beautiful Life website at face value. Also my website, there's a link to my website as well.
And what's your website?
mrsfraudandyou.com.
Okay.
MrsFraudandYou.com.
That's correct.
And people can attend if they're watching this now, they can see the book launch tomorrow, which is January 16th.
That's
At the
correct.
Jack Astor's. Okay, so what if they watch this on YouTube afterwards and they're interested in getting a copy of the book? What's the best
Oh,
way?
certainly. It's available at my website. It's in a few chapters location. It's still growing. We're looking into other locations as well. The book just came out last month, just before Christmas. So
Yeah.
the Christmas holidays, and a lot of people were sick.
And
too as
still
well.
are.
Still are.
And still are.
I hope you're not getting. I hope you're going to be very healthy
Yes, I am.
over
If
the
I have-
next few weeks
Yes.
and beyond.
and
Deanne.
beyond. That's right. It's going to be such
entire
an
year.
amazing ride, because we also what I've done, I've just completed my also with the American Board of New Linguistic Programming, and American Board of Hypnotherapy as well.
Well, you know what? Your next book should be combining the two.
Well, if you
that
look-
would be very interesting.
If you read the article, which we relate, you would understand at the bottom of the
you know-
article, there's and page 7, there's a bit of NLP in it too.
Well, you know what? I knew there was something going on from a spiritual angle when I saw the word transformational. It
Yes.
says the transformational book story. Okay, that word transformational is not usually used in words in things like identity theft. It's usually used in things like spirituality. So I knew there was something happening there.
Well, that article is not so much about Mrs. Fraud and you. It's really about the journey.
That is phenomenal. So that's great.
Because my company I'm launching too is called Empowerment Solutions 365, which is to bring out the greatness and excellence in others. That's what it is. So everything is tying in together. Because we've been doing workshops on the books, because now I'm being told I have to.
That's probably a really good approach.
Yeah,
do the seminars and make the books available there. And
Well, you're gonna love the name of the workshop.
what is it?
It's called Author's Magic Wand.
Authors?
Magic Wand.
Wow. That's kind of neat.
So if I could just put a wand in you,
Yeah.
then his wallet would be here.
And then maybe next time you come on the show, you can hypnotize me. or Sandra, and I'll give you a few suggestions for her.
Suggest canoe.
Who was
Okay.
procrastinating?
You're in a
Someone was
canoe.
procrastinating today.
Everyone.
Everyone, and it's very easy, very simple to change from that procrastinating, what you call chain and anchors, which we use on our fingers, to get from procrastinated to pump to
So
motivated.
we're gonna have you back and talk about
Yes.
NLP and all that kind of
So
stuff.
many things we
So
can
many
talk
things,
about.
Deanne.
It's a whole new world
All
out
right.
there.
Well, listen, I'm really looking forward to the event tomorrow. It starts at 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
Okay.
6 to 10, actually.
And
it's a long one.
people can go to
We love to
mrsfraudandyou.com.
have, that's why we love to have fun. And if it's not fun in the middle there, it's not me.
Well, I'm looking forward to this fun.
Awesome.
Okay, Deanne, thanks for doing this again.
Thank
today.
you.
And
So
we
good
look
to
forward
see
to
you.
getting you
We'll be
back.
back again many times.
Okay.
So this is not the end of it.
Awesome.
We're just beginning.
Yes, I know.
Okay, so that's it for the show. Sandra, first show of the new year.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Do I get a high five?
Yeah, you get a high five too, Deanne.
High five. Awesome.
Okay, all right. So that's it. We're just gonna sign off, and we'll see y'all. Actually, we're gonna be back Thursday for a live show.
Yes,
Right?
we are.
So we'll see you
Yes, we are.
Thursday right here on thatchannel.com. See you then.
Happy New Year. Bye.
Can you just go to a room shot? Yeah, perfect. Awesome.